Should I do it, Paulie?
I think you have to.
All right, here we go. Yeah! Woo! Pretty good weekend, wasn't it? Yeah, it wasn't a sweep, but the Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Washington Nationals to get the second half started on a positive note. Welcome into Ben & Woods on a Monday morning. We got one more day without the big guy over there. I believe he is en route
We don't
back
really
to
know.
San Diego. We don't really know. All we know is that he had a really good time, which I'm glad for. Paulie Reindel's the executive producer of the program. Going to be talking more today in Woods' absence. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, all we know is that apparently Woods had a really good time in Manchester, England. He made it to his concert. He was there hours early, got a great spot, and was among the 80,000 people who saw Oasis perform on Saturday night. On his 50th birthday, he has made it 50 and hopefully safely on his way back to San Diego.
Just crazy, man. It was weird. I know we're going to have a lot of concert and Manchester recaps tomorrow. Should Stephen Woods actually join us? We're just not really sure on what his travel plans are.
Yeah, we thought he might join us on Friday. That never materialized.
Right.
So,
and we think he may be on a plane home,
but we're
right
not
now,
sure.
But we haven't heard from him, so we don't know. But I got to say, I know we'll have a lot of conversation on it tomorrow. Man, I was borderline emotional for him, if that makes any sense. He's one of our good, closest friends, and to know how important that was for him. And it's been about a year in the making now where the tour was announced. It was last summer. He was like, guys, they're playing in their hometown on my 50th birthday. I have to make it happen. And for him to make it happen and all of the travel and logistics that went into it, to get the videos from him at the concert on Saturday, I was like, I'm so happy for him.
There's always a danger when you build something up for so long.
Yeah.
That it's not going to live up to your own massive expectations. And I think for me, that's a real factor in not pulling the trigger on sometimes, a big thing, an expensive thing that you think you might want. But I worry that, there's no worse feeling than spending a ton of money on something and then being disappointed in it. It's like, why did I do this? It's like one of the worst feelings for me personally in life is spending tons of money on something and realizing,
right,
why did I do that? I didn't need that. I don't even like it. And I was a little bit worried for Woods, knowing, the tickets were expensive. Obviously, the air travel, the hotel, everything. Spent a ton of money on this trip, as, he certainly should for his 50th birthday. But I wanted so much for him to enjoy the concert and the experience. And the post that he sent, and Paulie is playing the video in our YouTube stream of 80,000 just joyful people jumping up and down, dancing together and enjoying Oasis is, I think, just what he was looking for. Like a positive moment on his 50th birthday that was shared. I mean, yes, they're all strangers mostly from, England and beyond, but
right.
Just happy people all together. It gave him, I think, a little bit of hope for humanity and life as he hits 50 to be there in that sea of people and enjoying something that he's been looking forward to. Didn't know if there would ever be another Oasis concert,
right?
A year ago before the guys got back together. So for him to enjoy that, and be there all day, and I was really, really happy for him.
It was, and it looked like it really went off without a hitch. He had a really good spot. It was a festival, festival fairground type concert venue. It wasn't
like a Coachella type venue.
Yeah, exactly. It was first come, first serve. So if you wanted to show up later in the day, closer to the show time, you're going to be way in the back. He got there at 10 a.m. for an 8 p.m. concert.
Waited in line, got in for, among the first people so he could get up. Not all the way off the stage. There were some VIP areas, but the closest he could get to the stage.
He did it perfectly, though. He got this. There was this area. There was definitely a whole ass section of people in front of him, between him and the stage. But there was this little barrier where there was just some security and maybe some control guys. And he was up against that barrier. So he had nobody directly in front of him. And it looked like it was so much fun, man. And I was just really happy for him. I know that how much that meant to him to go all the way out there for this. And He has talked about the travel troubles that he had making it happen, but he did it, and I was very happy for him.
And we will get the full story when he gets back, hopefully tomorrow morning. Not too much worse for wear, although I do imagine there will be a significant amount of jet lag and bleariness as he gets through the rest of this week. But we'll be glad to have him back. As for you, Paulie, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good.
Tier 1s played yesterday. Did you get a win for Woods at least?
We did.
Good.
Yeah, we just scratched it out. Our roster of like 23 people ended up being like 10 yesterday, and we got
limited bench.
Very limited bench, and everyone playing out of position and getting a lot of innings. But when you have your starting pitcher strike out 13 in 7 innings and go 4 for 4 from the dish, it's gonna be a good day.
Sounds like you got a ringer on your hands.
Yeah, a little bit of a ringer.
That's right.
He was a stud. It was fun. Other than that, went to the casino on Friday night.
You did?
Just up in Temecula there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Had
been up there before?
Yeah, good time. Came out even, which is always, that feels like a dub, right?
Sounds like you've had a fairly decent year in the casinos between your trip to Vegas earlier.
When you come out like right around even, you're happy. That's a win. Yes, of course you want to come home with positive money, but when you, like for me, if I pull out, however much money, like I'm planning for that to be gone and just lose it all. It's a spent
any cash still in your pocket at the end of the night.
And when you're like
a bit of a win, even if you did lose.
I pulled out this much. I'm walking out with this much. That is good. So
not bad.
We had a good time. And then Carlos asked if I got the shoes that we talked about on Friday. Was he the one? He was the one that
was down there. Yeah,
in the line. I did not get the shoes. Try to get them online. They go nationally available tomorrow, and I'll probably still try to get them tomorrow.
Wait for the next release, and maybe you'll get lucky next time.
Maybe. All right. Did you get the shoes?
I did not get the shoes.
You did not get the shoes.
No. Not looking for the shoes. I had a really good day yesterday. Really, really nice Sunday. As you can imagine, it started with me waking up and flipping on the Open Championship on television, watching Scotty Scheffler pretty much suck the air out of every other competitor in the world of golf and just cruise to his 4th major title. But I like getting up. There's nothing better than already having sports on in the morning. I see why people in San Diego enjoy like English Premier League soccer. It's kind of nice
getting up at like 4 or 5 a.m.
when you get to be my age at least, and you can't sleep in anymore, and you're up on the weekend and going, why am I up at 6:15 on a weekend morning when I could be sleeping in, but you can't sleep in anymore? And then you think, oh, there's no sports on for like 4 hours. It's nice to have a live sporting event on at that time in the morning. He was just teeing off, watched the golf, and then watched the Padres at 10:30. Very, very stress-free victory for your San Diego Padres.
Love it.
You haven't gotten a lot of those this year.
I've been clamoring for one for like 2 weeks. We finally got it.
Does it get better? And we'll talk about the game coming up here, but does it get better than up 4-0 after 4 batters?
No,
really. And that was all you needed. I mean, that is pretty much the ideal.
You literally you could not have done better.
It's like 4 batters, 4-0. I feel, and Nick Pivetta on the mound. I feel really good about this game already after about 7 minutes. That was really fun. So watch that. And then it still obviously was only about 1:30. So I went with my son and saw Superman in the theater. Haven't been to a movie in an actual theater in at least a few months. And it was fun. It was kind of corny, but it was different. It's a DC movie, not a Marvel movie. And there's a whole different vibe to it, but actually did enjoy Superman.
I heard, everybody that I know that saw it, and I'm not big on the comic book movies, but I'm not against seeing it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Everyone I know though, they said it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was definitely a comic booky movie.
I didn't see anybody that was like greatest Superman ever or anything like that, but I didn't see anybody that was like terrible. Don't waste your money.
But I laughed a few
good,
times.
Not great.
Good CGI, and it's different from the Marvel cinematic universe, or like it's such a big production of so many interlocking parts, and if you haven't been watching the other movies, you feel like lost. This one felt pretty much like just pick up right with Superman's story, and totally got it, and enjoyed the actors and the characters, and hammy performances, and it was pretty enjoyable. Good. And then whole family, me and the kids and Shelly went to dinner at Tony's Sakal in Solana Beach, which
Nice.
is absolutely one of our favorites. We plotted it out to make sure we got there before the races ended yesterday in Del Mar, because if you wait until this was perfect. So we got there. If you haven't been to Tony's, just a long, like 100-year-old Mexican restaurant. It's right next to Fidel's. You're either a Fidel's family or a Tony's family if you grow up in the North County. We were always Tony's family, so that's where we go for our sit-down Mexican food dinners. And we got there about 5:30, and the races were still on, so there was plenty of tables. Sat down right away, had a really good dinner, ate for about an hour. Then 6:30, we're leaving, and you can see everyone starting to arrive. Like, people are all pulling into the lot at the same time and racing to get their name in, because if you're the first in, you may only be waiting like 10 minutes. If you're the 15th in, you may have to wait like an hour and a half for a table. So we beat the races traffic, had a great chili relleno, and my wife had the turkey tacos because that's what they do at Tony's, and had a really good night. Went home, watched a little TV, relaxed, got some sleep. I mean, just kind of like what you're hoping for in a Sunday.
Yeah.
There's certainly like Sunday, if you can have a day like that. I felt pretty good about my day yesterday.
Yeah, I just I guess I don't know how I'd do if like the Padres, like a team that I follow and root for, had games at like 5 or 6 in the morning. Don't know. I guess I'd get used to it.
Like every single time. Yeah, I mean,
I guess it's because
once a week though.
Soccer is not every day, so that changes it. I guess it'd be like the NFL London games every week if that was your team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be tough if you had to do it every single week or every single game to get up that early. So, I mean, you'd want to occasionally have a fun afternoon game where everyone can kind of get together and have a normal time start. But certainly once in a while to have an early morning game, didn't mind that at all. That was watching the sports early.
I guess, again, I'm not a big NFL guy, but when like red zone on a Sunday, and I'll wake up and be like, oh, it's third quarter of that London. That's right. That started early. I completely forgot about that one.
And so Padres, of course, are kind of on that East Coast schedule this week with the games in Washington and now heading to Miami, which I just was reminded when I got here this morning, have normal shows today and tomorrow. But on Wednesday, we only have half of a show on Wednesday morning because the Padres game will start just after 9 a.m., which means Sammy is going to be here for the pregame show just after 8 a.m. on Wednesday. So a little, getting out early. Like, remember when they had the half days in school?
Yeah.
And, teacher in service or teacher parent conferences, and you got out at like 12:30 or something. We have like a half day in school on Wednesday as we lead you right into Padres baseball and the series finale against the Miami Marlins.
Oh, that's going to be outstanding. It's going to be terrible radio on Wednesday. We'll just let you know ahead of
2 hours. Those half days, you never accomplished anything in a half day.
Like, you would think logic tells you if you plan a 4-hour show, if you do a 4-hour show every day, a 2-hour show should be a breeze. For whatever reason, that's not the case with us. I don't know if we try to jam 4 hours into 2 hours and it just doesn't sound good, or if we're just like kind of lazy because you're like, it's only 2 hours. We can do that standing on our head.
We don't need to really prepare for it. I mean, I'd like to think that's not how we approach it, that we'll still prepare. We'll have a game to talk about from the night before. We'll probably try to get a Big League Wednesday guest if we can, but we might not because it's only 2 hours. It's just a short show.
Maybe it's a Padre who's getting ready to play in that game.
That would make sense, at least. And maybe it's too close to the game. We may have to come in early.
I thought about that. I'm like, I was trying to like do the math. I'm like, all right, so if it's a 9 a.m. game, like if we had somebody call in at 6:30, that's all right, 2.5 hours before the game time. But I'm like, well, we usually, if we go down to Petco Park and record an interview with guys, it's like 4 hours before the game starts.
Exactly. Like, so open clubhouse is usually like 3.5 or so hours before the game starts.
So like they literally may be busy when our show starts. Too busy to call in, but figure it out. See if we can make something happen.
Exactly. So we got that to look forward to this week, which probably will help Woods in his reacclimation to real life. That's not going to be easy, as we said, not just the jet lag, but just coming off the high of this trip that he's looked forward to for so long, and then having to do a 4-hour show if he does make it back in time for tomorrow. He's going to be absolutely gassed, but he'll at least have that lifeline of a 2-hour show on Wednesday and then maybe go home and crash a little bit.
Right.
I mean, we'll see what Hannah allows him to recover. It's always tough. You're coming back and you feel like, I want to pitch in and help with kids, but he's not going to be in great form, I think, for at least 2 or 3 days coming off this excursion.
Yeah, I don't know what that recovery is going to look like for him. Haven't experienced that kind of jet lag.
Of course, he does have a trip to Hawaii coming up next week, so it's not like he's got so long to wait for another far-flung adventure. Yes, no, literally, Woods is going to Hawaii next week. Now, as he said, he's taking the equipment with him, so we do expect him to continue to join us for 3 hours early from island time.
Do you find yourself at all like feeling bad that he feels obligated to bring the equipment and still join us?
Oh, no. I mean, if this was his only vacation all year, I would feel a little like, no, go and enjoy yourself. But because there has been a sequence of vacations over and over again,
which is the logic that went into his. It was his call to take the equipment.
I think I want to be a good friend and a supportive coworker to Stephen Woods. But let's be honest, if he missed this entire week for Oasis and then was gone a week and a half for Hawaii, I'd be getting mad at this point. Like, you are leaving me here and Paul to do for like 17 shows in July without you?
Yeah. No big deal, bud. We got it.
I mean, I took a show and a half off for my family vacation. I didn't take 17 shows off to go to England and Hawaii in the same month. So, no, I don't really feel that bad about him taking the equipment and getting up early and doing some of the shows with us from the beautiful island of Kauai next week.
It was literally, I mean, this was not Adam's call. Like, Adam didn't say, all right, hey, you don't have enough vacation time, so you have to bring it was nothing like that. We did not, I didn't
say anything.
I wouldn't even have thought to suggest maybe joining us from Hawaii. I never would have even thought about it. You're going on vacation, have fun. It was his idea. It was his call. He wanted to be a part of the show because he knew he had so many trips lined up. And he goes, I can't do this to you guys. I want to help out minus, a couple of days of those 10 days for travel or whatever. And we said, yeah, no problem, dude. It's fine. But then,
neither of us said a thing, but he's right. I think both of us would have been a little bitter and resentful if he took just the entire time off again. And we had 9 straight more shows without him this month.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Maybe you and me go on vacations next July
at the same time.
We're out of here. See you later, man. It's you and Adam for 12 days.
All right. Well, I think this show actually should be kind of a snap, even without Wood, since we have a great weekend to talk about a Padres baseball and much more. We will set the menu for what we've got for you today, guests and more, coming up after our first check of traffic with Kelly Danick on a Monday morning here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Good morning. Back to it on a Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Looking pretty quiet on the roads at this time. A stall has just been cleared on southbound 15 near the 163, but now we're getting reports of a stall northbound 15 near Arrow Drive. They're saying it's blocking lanes, but really can't confirm anything. So if one of you guys feels like looking out the windows of the studio and see if you see anything out there, get back to me on that. That's North 15 Arrow Drive. Yeah, like I said, looking nice and quiet elsewhere around the county. Islands Restaurants, summer refreshment, paradise ambience, and the best burgers in town, like the Big Wave with cheese and fresh cut fries. $10 now for a limited time only. Visit one of our Islands restaurants throughout Southern California today. Dine in only. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Couple comments from our chat. Dominic makes the point. Woods can't do anything technical. How the heck is he going to set the equipment up? It's a bit of a concern. I will say the equipment, if you have opposable thumbs, you should be able to actually set it up. It requires plugging something in the wall, like putting in a couple of cables into where they're supposed to go. Very obvious. They match up quite easily. Turning it on and then just hitting connect, one button, and you should be good to go. But Woods will find a way to make it difficult.
We are concerned, but he claims to have a room in their house there where he's able to set up and do the show quietly from there. So I imagine it's going to take 1 or 2 FaceTime calls with Woods. All right, you see that? Yeah, plug that into there.
Dial it in.
All right, turn that on. No, don't press that. Don't definitely don't touch that button, and then just be like, all right, you're good. Now just power it off and don't touch it until the next morning.
Now, somehow we managed to do shows during the pandemic with that equipment for, almost a year. So we did manage to get it done. I think he will be able to get it done. Brandon says he thinks it would be worse for Woods to do all these vacations in August. He says at least you have trade deadline material in July if he misses shows. Brandon, I am so sick of talking about the non-existent moves that have not happened before this trade deadline.
I couldn't agree with you more and disagree with Brandon more because I hate trade deadline talk. I hate it more than anything because nobody knows anything. Nobody has any idea.
We all know what the Padres need. We know.
Oh yeah,
AJ knows.
We don't know who he's talking to. We don't know what what players are being potentially shopped around. Like we have no idea what's going on. And to just sit here and, all right, what if we call up the A's and we work a deal out with these 3 guys, and then you can add the Guardians in for another 3-team trade. Like there's no point in like hooking up fake trade proposals because we don't make those decisions.
But everyone agrees Padres need a couple of bats for the end of their order. If AJ does anything else spectacular, I mean, I won't be shocked, but that's definitely what he needs to do, likely what he is going to do, and now we just have to wait until he actually does it. Is it going to be today? Will it not be for another 10 days? I have no idea, but I am getting so tired of the trade deadline and nothing really happening. I mean, it's the slowest month of July, it feels like. I know that usually takes a little longer into the July, but it just feels like this has been particularly excruciating this year, waiting for the Padres to make some sort of move. But we will, of course, continue to talk about it this week. Coming up on the program today, we'll get to our Padres wrap-up. Yesterday's 8-1 win over the Washington Nationals, a Grand Slam weekend. I'll get you the highlights from Jesse and Tony from Nationals Park, discuss the game yesterday, and then we'll go back and take a look at the other 2 games on Friday and Saturday as the Padres take 2 out of 3 to start the second half of the season. In our 7 o'clock hour, after Don't Do This, we'll be joined by our buddy Craig Elston, Padres Hot Tub Podcast, and we can talk about SDFC's 1-1 draw over the weekend that did keep them in first place. Wasn't the offensive explosion. They've scored 1 goal since Milan Olaski officially left the team, but they did held on to first place in the table with a 1-1 draw against Vancouver. So we can talk a little baseball, talk a little soccer with Craig Elston in our 7 o'clock hour. And then in our 8 o'clock hour, if anything is cooking with the San Diego Padres, Dennis Lynn, our Linsider from The Athletic, is going to be with us at 8:35 to get anything he is hearing on the trade front, on the injury front. I know Jackson Merrill missed yesterday's game due to illness. Fernando Tatis came out early. I assume that was just because they were ahead and wanted to get him off his feet. But anything that's going on with the Padres, Dennis will know, and he will join us at 8 o'clock. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, not only do we have our Rhinal Report, but we also have tickets to give away, and we have them all week for next Tuesday's Padres-Mets game. It is the Sandless Beach Towel Night at Petco Park for the first 40,000 fans. We'll have an opportunity for Tier 1s to win tickets all week long for the game on July 29th. Big game against the New York Mets. First series at home in the second half of the season for the San Diego Padres. So that's what we've got on the menu for you today. We will take a quick timeout, check traffic. When we come back, we'll get into the highlights of a very solid, stress-free win for your San Diego Padres in our nation's capital yesterday. Got Ben and Paulie with you on a Monday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Paulie said he made a very long drive, which is fine. If you want to go and play some slot machines, you can head out, an hour plus up to Temecula, deep into the East County. But if you're a card player, there's no reason you have to drive that far, because 7 Mile Casino is San Diego's best and closest card room, and it's located right down the 5 freeway in Chula Vista. So easy to get to. West side of the freeway, you get off, and within, about 30 seconds, you're pulling into the lot, parking, walking in. It's right there in front of you, and sitting down at one of their great California-style blackjack tables, Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, or Baccarat. Great dealers. They're friendly. They love high-limit players. They know how to take care of them well. So if you feel like you're a serious card player, 7 Mile is for you. Or if you're just a casual and want to head out there with friends and have a good time, They will take care of you as well. They've got food 24/7 at Sammy's. The 24/7 players menu is fantastic. Plus, the full Sammy's menu for lunch and dinner, and the weekend brunch is spectacular. Enjoy the patio right out on San Diego Bay. I think I've hit all the highlights here. At this point, you just need to check it out for yourself. Tell them Woods and Ben sent you. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
I was kind of looking ahead to what I've got this week for Channel 10 as well. And I'm just uneasy about tomorrow, Paulie. Tomorrow, the Chargers practice here in San Diego.
Oh.
July 22nd at USD. First of two practices. I think it's tomorrow's practice is open to like military families, and then Wednesday's practice is open to everybody.
I will be completely honest. I think I remember seeing something about
they were going to do that,
like, a while back. Not on my radar even a little bit. Totally did not even know that was happening until you said something.
It's uncomfortable for me because obviously I have strong opinions about them even being here. I think it's insulting for them to come down here and act like that this community could still embrace them. I realize there are Chargers fans still here in San Diego. I'm related to some of them. And I understand that you just didn't want to give it up. You wanted to continue to cheer for your NFL team, and weren't about to change at whatever stage of life that you are. There are also a lot of people in San Diego who are still ticked by the fact that they moved. And not only moved, but move out to Los Angeles.
Right.
Again, if the Red Sox moved to New York, there's not one person in Boston who would continue to cheer for the Red Sox. There just isn't. And I mean, there really is the most direct comparison. And I never totally understood how people outside of Southern California couldn't get that. Like when I explain it that way, they always go, well, obviously, yeah, if the Red Sox moved to New York, there's not a single person in Boston who would continue to cheer for that team.
Right.
How is this any different? Yeah, it's about the same distance-wise. It's the same rivalry-wise. Why is it any different at all between, something like this and something like that? So,
yeah.
I feel like if that happened, if the Red Sox moved to New York for 7 years and then said, hey, we're going to come back and we're going to do a couple of like spring training workouts in Boston for the fans, there would be absolute riots and destruction if they tried to come back and do that. Now, I doubt that that's going to happen tomorrow at USD, but it's uncomfortable and awkward, and I don't think that they should be here at all. I really don't, which is not very good journalism of me. As a journalist covering a story, I'm supposed to be neutral and just cover the story as it unfolds, and I will do my very best.
So
but
you have to go down there, or is it up to you?
Yeah, I'm the sports anchor and sportscaster for Channel 10, and it is a sports story in San Diego tomorrow that needs to be covered, I would think.
Can't you, as Mr. Journalist, take this as an opportunity to shape the narrative and be like, no, you know what? I'm not going to go down there, and this is why we're not going down there. Your story.
No, I think that would be unprofessional.
Why would that be unprofessional?
They're here. And
are you not allowed to have opinions?
No, I'm allowed to have an opinion, but I'm not allowed to simply stick my head in the sand and pretend something that I don't like isn't happening. That would not be serving the audience. I will give it a fair shake.
Is there an audience or not? Because you just spent 5 minutes saying nobody here cares. And I agree with you.
If the story is that 500 people showed up with like signs, angry at Dean Spanos and saying, chanting, go back to LA. Absolutely. I want to be here to get the video. That's a huge story. But that also means if no one shows up, no one cares.
But if
and
you just show up to USD
empty,
and there's just 20 cucks sitting there with their Chargers jersey.
That's also a story. Chargers get a very poorly attended practice in San Diego, questioned as to why did they even come down here if nobody cares. And if I go down there and, there's 10,000 people and they're all really excited to see the Chargers back, that is not what I want to see, but that is also a story in San Diego. So one way or another, however this goes the next couple of days, and I tend to lean toward the middle, kind of like a modest crowd. I just think after 7 years, it's tough to get yourself really worked up to, I'm making a sign and I'm going to go, picket Dean Spanos for being here in San Diego. After 7 years, we probably all should just move on with our lives. And, I've been trying to do so for the last 7 years, but obviously I'm still ticked that they left.
So did you have to email the Chargers public relations team and get a credential?
Still work for. I've just sent an email to Jen Rojas, who I worked with for many years when she was with she stayed with the team like some people did. Others, like our buddy Scott Yaffe, left the team, couldn't go to LA, didn't believe in the move, didn't think they should be going. Bill Johnston, who stayed and started working for the Padres, but some of them stayed. And obviously most of the crew is new, and I don't know anybody up there. I still never stepped foot inside of SoFi Stadium. And, may at some point in my life, but not planning to do so for a Chargers game.
Yeah.
Certainly, but I've never been up there. We have never covered a single game for Channel 10. And in that sense, I have shaped that narrative. I said, hey, we don't have NFL games. I don't have to go up there. We're not covering this team. They're not a San Diego team. I'm not going up to LA to cover an LA team. Now, an LA team, like if the Steelers came to town, like, hey, Mike Tomlin wants to bring the Steelers to the West Coast, get out of the heat, spend 3 days at the beach scrimmaging against another team, I would go cover that. Hey, they're coming to San Diego for a few days. This is an interesting, novel football story. I don't know
if they still do. The Cowboys used to work out in
Oxnard.
LA County.
I think they still do.
Every
they go up
year,
there, and
like
I'm sure that's a story up there when the Cowboys come and visit, which would be here.
Why don't teams come to San Diego if they wanted to get out of there?
Well, there is one, and they're coming tomorrow to San Diego, and I unfortunately kind of have to cover it. So I'm going to do my best to give it a fair shake, but we will see how well I do. But that's all I really want to talk about the Chargers.
I like getting
today.
You fired up about the Chargers. It makes me happy.
All right, let's check traffic, and then we'll go through the highlights. Padres 8, Nationals 1. Xander Bogaerts with a grand slam. We'll hear how Jesse called it. Tony got in there as well, I heard. Coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Looking pretty quiet on our roads. One thing to watch out for, northbound 15 near Arrow Drive. Getting reports of a stalled vehicle in lanes, possibly a ladder in lanes as well. So just take it extra carefully there, northbound 15 near Arrow Drive. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You know what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
Oh, yes.
It's the
Padres wrap-up.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
I want to go fast, but I want to go slow, and I want to go deep.
First pitch, Xander swings, sends it in the air to left field and deep. Lyle is back on the warning track.
Yes,
at
sir.
the wall, gonna go! Grand slam, Xander Bogaerts. Second slam of the season for the Padres. They have both come this weekend, and with nobody out in the top of the first inning, the Padres lead it 4-0. Cronenworth, a late defensive swing, and he grounds it up the third baseline. That's a fair ball. Iglesias rounded third. Lyle, a little bit of a bobble. Cronenworth to his second base, and the Padre lead is 5-0. And Sheets swings, lines it off the glove of Abrams, and it trickles out into center field. Machado will come in to score, and Gavin Sheets an RBI single to make it 6-0. As Abrams went up to try and make the catch, got leather on it, but couldn't squeeze it. They're on third, one out. And this one hit in the air deep down the left field line. Elias Diaz towards the pole. Gonna go! Home run number 5 for Elias Diaz. A 2-run shot here in the third inning. And the Padre lead is 8-0. Here's the 0-1. And in the air to deep right center field. Johnson back again onto the track, feeling for the big wall. And it is gonna go. A home run over the big fence in right center field. Riley Adams against his hometown team. Fifth home run of the season for the Washington catcher. The Nats are on the board. It's 8-1. 0-1 is grounded back to the mound, stabbed by Jacob. He runs it most of the way, and the underhand flip in time. And a scoreless bottom of the ninth inning as the Padres pound Mackenzie Gore and the Nationals here this afternoon. 8-1 to take the rubber game of this 3-game series.
Yeah, it was huge to get off the gate like that, controlling the zone. Toddy with the big bat started, worked the walk. Louis, nice stroke through the middle. Manny, same thing. I think 0-2 to 3-2 to walk, and then Bogey jumped on him. And so that was nice in and of itself, 4 spot. But then didn't let him breathe, Hosey right back at it, Crony. So we were able to add on after that, and then we added on in the second.
And I'm supposed to be able to make it make sense for your San Diego Padres. I fail miserably sometimes. How do you score only 2 runs against guys like Mike Soroka and Mitchell Parker, and then come out and lay 8 on the all-star Mackenzie Gore, who's been really, really good this year, and you absolutely destroyed him on a Sunday? I don't know how that makes any sense at all.
I don't know.
I'll take it, but I don't know how it makes any sense at all as the Padres do take the series yesterday, getting off to the quick start. Fernando Tatis Jr. working the walk. He has reached base. How many straight games we're getting like close to 20, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
For his on-base streak. And then Arise with a single. Man, he works a long count walk. Got it right there. That last pitch was about 2 inches below the zone, but it was low. And he walked to load the bases. And then Xander Bogaerts' first pitch takes a ball that really was even probably a little high. Was able to turn on it, 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity, 390 feet to left field. Helps when you're playing in that warm East Coast kind of muggy weather to get the ball to travel a little bit, and hits the grand slam, his 6th home run of the season, his first grand slam as a member of the San Diego Padres. Got really tired of seeing Xander come up to the plate with the bases loaded for the last 2.5 years. Say, hey, he's hitting 370 in his career with 8 grand slams. But they were all with the Boston Red Sox. And then he makes an out. But finally gets one with the San Diego Padres. And then I actually texted Paulie and Woods and watching the game. And I go, I think I might lay a bet. This seems like one of those games where they score these 4 and then never score again. Like McKenzie gets locked in, they never score again. I was wrong within 3 batters as Iglesias doubled and Cronenworth doubled, and they made it 5-0. I go, oh, we're gonna have one of these games. We're gonna keep adding on.
Diaz joined in on the fun.
And they did for at least 3 innings after scoring another one in the second on a 2-out rally, Sheets RBI single. And then Elias Diaz, the 2-run home run in the third. It was 8-0. They knocked Mackenzie Gore out of the game. And then at that point, they couldn't score against the reliever who had like a 7 ERA, who threw 3 and whatever shutout innings. I don't even remember what his name was. But, yeah, they stopped scoring. But at that point, with Nick Pivetta on the mound, didn't really matter. Nick Pivetta was really good, only gave up a solo home run to Riley Adams in the 5th inning, went 6 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, walk, 5 strikeouts to earn his 10th win of the season. Nick Pivetta.
He has been so good, man.
Yeah, all-star snub, but continues to pitch well out of the break, tying his career high with his 10th win of the season as the Padres go on to an 8-1 win. And not only do they win, but they win without a lot of stress, and they don't have to use any of the back end of the bullpen as Brian Hoeing pitches a scoreless inning. And then Alec Jacob, raise your hand if you forgot that Alec Jacob was on the team right now, pitches 2 scoreless innings to close out the win. And who knows how long he'll remain with the roster. They actually brought him up, I had forgotten, before the All-Star break, back on July 12th.
That weekend against Philly?
That weekend. They never used him, and then he just kind of quietly made it through the All-Star break and remained on the team for this year. I actually was shocked when they brought him out to pitch. Wait, Alec Jacob is on the team right now when he came out to pitch in the 8th inning. And I started to get nervous. Like, really? Do you trust Alec Jacob with a 7-run lead here? But Mike Schilt trusted him and was rewarded with that trust with a fairly easy victory in which he got to rest all of his back-end bullpen options.
Got to see Tyler Wade in a game. He made the trip. He was actually there and even got into a game yesterday.
He pinch hit for Fernando Tatis Jr. I think it was in the top of the 7th inning. I assume, and I didn't hear anything otherwise, that it was simply with a big lead to get Tatis off of his feet for a couple of innings. Now you could have let Tatis hit and then put Wade in for defense, unless you're worried that Tatis is going to get hit by a pitch. He did take another one that was really close and go down to the ground hard, as he tends to do when he's getting out of the way early in the game. So I was wondering, did he perhaps tweak something and they decided to take him out? But I did not hear any comments from Mike Schilt about anything happening to Fernando Tatis Jr. So until I hear otherwise,
it looked like he may have knocked the wind out of him or something when he hit the ground. Don and Mud were talking about how he hits the ground sometimes so hard, and I started thinking about him, like, yeah, we don't really think about that part of the equation. We don't really take that into consideration too much. We see, whether or not he needs to hit the ground. He sees a ball coming in at 98 miles an hour, coming in high at eye level. He doesn't know how close it's going to end up being. You have to make that decision so quick. So he decides to hit the deck. And I'm like, yeah, they're playing on like basically it feels like concrete sometimes. And I can see if like, yeah, you hit the ground, hit your back weird or something. I could see that.
I mean, you've got to get away from the ball however you're going to get away from the ball. You do not want to get hit by a 97 mile an hour pitch. So you get out of the way. Other guys do it a little more subtly, like just do a little pullback and it misses them by an inch. You know, Fernando tends to pull a lot further back to get out of the way, which is just the way, I guess he's just kind of ingrained how it happens. But yeah, you do worry that when he goes to the ground that potentially he'll cause some sort of damage just getting out of the way of the pitch. Again, I had not heard anything that his removal from the game was for anything other than get him off his feet. We've got a 7-run lead. Let's get Tyler Wade some action and at bat, some time in defense. Actually made a nice diving little grab when he went out there in center field. But the other injury or illness note was, of course, Jackson Merrill was scratched from the lineup yesterday due to an illness. I did not really hear an update on Jackson, whether it's expected to be just a one day. Is he back in the lineup today? Is it something a little more serious that might keep him out for a couple of days? But the upshot of Jackson Merrill missing the game was a chance for Bryce Johnson to start. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Bryce Johnson is the answer to all or any of the San Diego Padres offensive problems. However, given the options that they have, maybe I'd like to see Bryce Johnson in the lineup a little more often, at least until, they hit the trade deadline and they do make some changes and some additions. He's got speed, plays good defense in the outfield. He's a switch hitter, so you can play him against righties or lefties. I mean, against a right-handed pitcher, having Gavin Sheets as your DH and Bryce Johnson out in the outfield hitting right-handed. I mean, he's hitting over 300 right now for the San Diego Padres. Yes, again, very limited. That wouldn't hold over the course of a season. He's not an all-star 300 hitter, but he seems to be somewhat locked in at the plate. Why not, play Bryce Johnson a little bit more? What do we keep seeing in Trenton Brooks that he continues to get more opportunities than any of the other guys who came up? More than Tirso Ornelas, more than Oscar Gonzalez, certainly more than Luis Camposano ever got a designated hitter. Trenton Brooks keeps going out there against righty pitchers and is doing nothing at all offensively for the Padres. He's hit a couple lineouts. I mean, that's about it. And Bryce Johnson, when he gets in there, good things tend to happen when Bryce Johnson's been in there. So, I mean, yes, it's a weird take to call for more Bryce Johnson. Honestly, it's usually probably a really bad sign for your team.
I hope AJ Preller's listening now and going, I got to make a freaking trade.
Local radio host calling for more Bryce Johnson in the lineup is never a good headline. Never a good headline. But at this point, why not give it a try for a few days? Because I've liked what I've seen from more Bryce Johnson.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit towards the end of last week. I just remember saying, like, it's not a personal thing. I wish nothing but the best for the guy, but I don't know I can handle a whole lot more Trenton Brooks right now. He's giving you nothing right now.
Like, I mean, he stands up there and looks like he might get a hit, and then he doesn't. I guess that doesn't really matter if you look like you might get a hit if you don't get a hit.
Yeah. I know it's a depth issue right now, but how you can see that and just go, we got to make a trade. We got to make some moves. And I'm starting to still look, they had a good weekend and they have a lot of winnable games still coming up on the rest of this road trip. And I'm still impatient. I don't want to wait. I don't want a deadline deal to come down at 11 a.m. that day. I'm ready for some moves sooner rather than later.
We will look ahead at the rest of the road trip a little bit later, but Padres, it was a good weekend in terms of the standings. And now that we're post All-Star break, yeah, you can regularly update the standings, at least every series going forward. And with winning 2 out of 3, the Padres gained 2 games on the Giants, who got swept by the Toronto Blue Jays, gained 2 games on the St. Louis Cardinals, who got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks, and picked up 2 games on the LA Dodgers, who were swept by the Milwaukee Brewers. So the Padres now sit here on July 21st, just 3.5 games out of first place in the NL West. Certainly, I'm a lot closer than I think the Dodgers fans would like to see the Padres in their rearview mirror. Now, the Dodgers are expecting to get Blake Snell and Blake Snell, Blake Trinan, both of Blake's back.
Glass now.
They just got Glass now back, so I don't know that they'll continue to struggle the way they have, but Padres are, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear, and now 2.5 games up for the last wild card spot on both the Reds and the Giants. So good weekend in the standings for your San Diego Padres. We'll come back. We can talk about the other 2 games in the series. Get to Don't Do This as well. 1 hour already in the books on a Monday. Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Padres won the series, but didn't get the sweep, and I saw some disappointment among Padres fans that they viewed that as a missed opportunity in Washington, D.C. And certainly that was a sweepable team, and Saturday's game was a winnable game against the Nationals. However, you really can never be upset when your team wins a series, especially on the road. If you win 2 out of every 3 games, you'd be the best team of all time. And if you lost 2 out of every 3 games, you'd be one of the worst teams of all time. So when you play a team like the Washington Nationals on the road, the expectation is not to sweep the series. It's you've got to win that series, take 2 out of 3. That's what a good team is supposed to do against a bad team. It's not supposed to be a sweep.
You
it's
can
supposed
never
to be a series win.
Demand a sweep.
You cannot. And you can't demand a sweep against the Marlins the next 3 days.
But anything
as well.
less than a series win against a team like that is unacceptable.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
I will caution, and again, we'll preview it later. The Marlins have been playing pretty well. They lost yesterday, but won another series coming out of the break. They were playing well going into the break for the most part. They've got some good pitchers going against the Padres. This is not going to be an easy series. 2 out of 3, I'd be very happy with against the Miami Marlins over the next 3 days. Don't put sweep as your only expectation, sweep or bust. I'm happy the Padres took 2 out of 3 in Washington, but Saturday's game was winnable, and the Padres didn't get it done. Now, Paulie and I were talking during the break. Yu Darvish makes the start on Saturday, and once again, he looked like Yu Darvish. Now, the results have not been great so far. He's 0-2 in 3 starts. His ERA is around 6. Mm-hmm. Gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. Not horrible, not great, but you'd agree that what we're seeing from Yu Darvish, he's not getting just knocked all around the yard. He's given up a couple of, maybe badly timed hits, a 2-out rally in that game on Saturday that turned into the 2 runs right there. He looks mostly like Yu Darvish looks, and you could see that Yu Darvish still has probably a good stretch in him, hopefully coming up later this season.
Yeah, it's like, you got 2 outs and then there's an error, whether it's his error or somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, it extends the inning. It's been a little bit tough, but I've been trying to just have like tunnel vision on the Yu Darvish outings and only just watching him, how he looks, how his pitches look. And I got to say, I haven't seen anything that's like concerning or a glaring issue. Like, you can tell he's still working his way back to being fully, like, I don't know. If you had to guess, do you think he's 100% right now? I don't.
I don't think
I'd
so.
say like 90, 85, 90%.
I don't know whether it's health-wise. He even admitted after the game, command just slightly off. And when we're talking about slightly off, he's aiming for outside corner at the knees, and he's hitting outside half and like an inch above the knees. It's not bad, but instead of an easy out, it turns into kind of a bloop single that scores a couple of runs. It's a very fine line for pitchers, but Yu's really close, I think, to being solid.
Like, I don't have any concerns.
No, not really. I mean, I would like to see some results at some point because obviously the Padres are in a playoff race and you can't.
These games
count.
Results. These aren't rehab assignments.
It's not spring training. The games do count, but I think Yu Darvish is getting closer to being. We'll see a 7-inning 1-run performance from Yu hopefully in the next start or 2 when he takes the mound. The bigger concern, obviously, on Saturday was the inability to take advantage of a lesser arm for the Washington Nationals in Mitchell Parker, who the Padres let off the hook a couple of times, including in the top of the 5th when Manny Machado came up with the bases loaded one day after hitting a grand slam. Manny Machado strikes out with the bases loaded with a chance to, put the Padres ahead and maybe change the course of that game. They just were not able to ever kind of hit the knockout blow for the Washington Nationals. And in the end, ended up only scoring 2 runs, which is just not enough in a game like that. I thought in the 8th inning, really thought they were going to win that game. They were down 4-2, but they started the top of the 8th inning with Fernando Tatis Jr. walking, and then Luis Arraez laid down a bunt. Now, it was ruled a sacrifice bunt and an error. Was he trying to bunt for a hit?
Beautiful bunt.
I don't really know, but it was a really good bunt, forced the mistake throw from the catcher to first base into right field, and it had runners second and third, nobody out. And against a team like the Washington Nationals, you're thinking, okay, that's what you do. A bad team does that. You take advantage. You go on and you score a bunch that inning. But once again, Manny struck out, and then chopper back to the mound by Gavin Sheets. Tatis got caught up in the rundown, was ruled safe for a second. Remember, the Padres looked like they had the bases loaded and 1 out. Tatis escaping the tag, but the Nationals challenged and did get him right on the back of the calf or something there.
Got him, yeah.
Just barely got him. So then it was first and second with 2 outs, and Xander kind of hit a line out to right field, and that was it. Padres did not threaten in the 9th inning and ended up going down 4-2. The game did start, I think, an hour plus late due to a rain delay. Not an excuse, just another thing they kind of had to deal with in that game.
That was my biggest concern with Yu Darvish was the delay. Because, I mean, again, I still feel like he's definitely still ramping it up and trying to get to 100%. And you get a little nervous, at least. Not worried necessarily, just a little bit nervous. You're like, man, these delays can really screw the starting pitcher, and they work to get hot. Everything is timed out, and then you have an hour plus delay. And I saw there was really not a whole lot of rain even happening during the delay. It was just a threat of rain.
There was a little lightning, which is obviously even more concerning than rain. So kept him out for a while. Yeah. But Padres lost that one. Martin Maldonado did have an RBI double, but I think that ties into Friday's game because Martin Maldonado did not start on Friday behind the plate with Dylan Cease on the mound. For the first time all season, Mike Shildt changed around his catching-pitching combination and had Elias Diaz catch Dylan Cease. And whether or not it was a coincidence or a cause, Dylan Cease turned in one of his best performances of the season. Only 5 1/3, but 4 hits, 10 strikeouts, no walks, which was huge. And helped the Padres, didn't get the win, unfortunately, because of the late C.J. Abrams home run that tied it. But seeing Dylan Cease throw like that, to me, was the thing of the weekend. Better than Manny Machado's grand slam, better than Xander Bogaerts' grand slam. Having Dylan Cease look like Dylan Cease is the most important thing that happened for the Padres this past weekend.
Yeah, I just looked at he was at 94 pitches when they pulled him in the 6th inning with 1 out there. And could he have finished it? Yeah, probably. But I liked the move of getting him out there when they felt he was done and getting him out on a high note before things can escape from him. And all of a sudden you're like, it was an okay outing, but look at the results. No, he was impressive and dominant. And I think it was a very welcome sight for Padres fans, especially to kick off the second half, starting it out on a high note like that. And then coupling that with Manny's grand slam, first one of the year, that was awesome.
After the game, Cease did praise Elias Diaz for calling a good game and doing a great job behind the plate. He also apologized to Martin Maldonado and said, wasn't Martin's fault that I wasn't throwing well in previous games. I wish I had thrown the way I did today for Martin. But I do think that what happened this weekend could be a sign that Martin Maldonado's days with the team are becoming numbered. Again, he got the hit on Saturday. Appreciate it for sure. But maybe he'll continue to pair up with Yu Darvish going forward. He'll probably start tonight with Randy Vasquez on the mound since Martin Maldonado has caught Vasquez all season, I believe, right? And he's done it pretty well. It's been his biggest success story of the season. So I don't think anything's going to change tonight, but at some point, Padres are going to upgrade potentially at catcher. And I would think that at this point that Martin Maldonado may be running out of time with the San Diego Padres. But he was there. Elias Diaz, of course, not only behind the plate, but also had his safety squeeze game, drove in 2 runs with safety squeezes. And you'll forget about the one in the 9th inning, but that's actually the run that gave them the win, that put them ahead in the 9th inning. And then Manny hit the grand slam that put it out of reach. But it was Elias Diaz getting the bunts down twice. That was the difference really in that game for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what AJ does here at the deadline in the next couple of weeks, because there's just so many different, with multiple needs, there's so many different directions he can go, whether it's an arm, a left fielder, and a bat, and then you ride with Diaz and Maldonado, or you upgrade at catch. You upgrades anywhere kind of changes the whole discussion on how things look. You can live, I think, if they upgraded other spots and rode with Diaz and Maldonado, do you think this team can still win?
Yes, but I think that the it's imperative that they try to upgrade at catcher. The only reason the Padres won't upgrade at catcher is because there are no upgrades to find.
The move isn't there.
It's a tough, it's a tough thing to find a catcher sometimes at the trade deadline. They'll be looking and they'll be trying to upgrade, but the question is, can they find and match up with another team that's willing to part with a catcher at this stage in the season? They have to get a bat. It can be an outfielder, it can be a designated hitter, it can be a catcher. I prefer 2 bats, actually, at least, and extend your bench a little bit as well. But they have to get a bat. Whether or not AJ really goes all in and adds a bullpen piece or a back-end starting pitcher, if he does that, then we'll know that, okay, he's really pushing the chips to the table. There's no excuse for not adding a couple of bats, though. That has to happen in the next couple of weeks. I'd be shocked if the Padres didn't address, the offense in a couple of different ways here.
But we keep saying left field is a black hole right now, and all of a sudden it's well, maybe they go out and get the catcher and another bat, but he's more of a DH type role, and then you're like, all right, well, yeah, it was a black hole in left field, but maybe Gavin Sheets can just handle it and we'll be okay.
But that turned the designated hitter spot into a black hole.
I'm saying if you went and got one.
No, I know, but so just to keep in mind, the Padres for much of the season had the worst production out of left field in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That has gone up a little bit because they've played Gavin Sheets out there regularly. But as they've done that, their designated hitter has become the worst or one of the worst in all of baseball. You haven't solved anything.
You're just moving the black hole.
You're
around.
Bugs Bunny with your finger in the hole, and then another one springs somewhere else. So you move it, but you can't cover both holes. So Gavin Sheets can only play one place.
A lot of fingers.
Yes, I know. Sorry, bad. Maybe not my best analogy there, but because
elaborate, please.
Just because you've moved Gavin Sheets to left field, you haven't improved your offense at all. You have simply moved the weakness from left field to designated hitter. You can move Gavin Sheets back to designated hitter, then the weakness is back in left field. You have to address your lineup. And you still always have the weakness at catcher.
Getting
all the way through.
Or I'm saying you don't necessarily may not need a left fielder if you can add the DH and a catcher, and then all of a sudden you're like, left field production is actually not that bad because Gavin Sheets is turning into a decent option out there.
So end of the game, of course, Wandy Peralta, good job. We never give Wandy his praise. We always give Wandy the criticism when he has the bad outing. But came in, got out of the jam after Jason Adam gave up the 2-run home run and left the go-ahead runs on base in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Wandy got out of that jam and then came and finished the game in the 9th inning with the 5-run lead to get his, by the way, 4th win of the season. Wandy Peralta now 4-1 in the Padres bullpen. Now, a lot of those are just kind of picking up weird wins, when he came out early in the game and the Padres came back, but we always criticize Wandy, so give him his credit. Wandy had a pretty good weekend for the San Diego Padres and got the win on Friday night. One other point, got a couple of minutes here, and Adam just texted me, and he's absolutely right. One other thing that Dylan Cease talked about after the game, and he said we had the audio, if you want to do a little search here, Paulie, if we want to bring it up, but we talked about letters to AJ and his piece last week about Dylan Cease and his pitch mix and how he had kind of gone just fastball slider really heavily. Like he had gone up to 90% and he had kind of abandoned his knuckle curve and the changeup, which he didn't use a lot before, but at least had used 20% of the time.
Right.
And the fact that he had become so predictable for other teams might be one of the things that was impacting him, especially the second time through the order. Well, he changed and brought back some of those other pitches. We saw a bunch more knuckle curves, a changeup or two on Friday night, and lo and behold, the results were completely different for Dylan Cease. Here's what he had to say after the game.
I don't have it.
Oh, I thought you did. You gave me a little nod like you did.
I was agreeing with what you were saying.
You were agreeing, but you weren't giving me this sly nod that I found that audio and was going to bring it to us.
No.
I'm usually good at reading Paulie's subtle nonverbal cues over there.
I don't see it.
It's very rare, though. And I give letters to AJ a lot of credit. We had him on the air a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
To so directly identify an issue.
Yeah.
And then see the player in question recognize and act on that issue and then have results immediately following. Baseball doesn't always work that way. You can change and you don't get the results, or you don't change and you do get the results, because baseball is weird. But in this case, does feel like there was at least, not that I'm sure the Padres also knew about that issue. Leonard AJ isn't the only one that probably noticed the pitch mix. I'm sure Ruben Niebla, Padres, pitching gurus all saw what was going on.
I would hope so.
But there was a definite change in the pitch mix for Dylan Cease on Friday against the Nationals.
100%.
All right. We will take a look around the rest of Major League Baseball coming up. As I mentioned, Padres did pick up some ground on division rivals and in the wild card race over the weekend. So it was a very good weekend for your San Diego Padres, and they will continue their road trip tonight against the Miami Marlins with the 3:40 first pitch, 2:40 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt coming up later today here on The Fan. Up next, though, before we get to Craig Elston joining us, we got a little DDT, and this story, we didn't really get to it on Friday, and it's continued to kind of blow up, involving the NFL Players Association and their head that stepped down, and some details that have come out over the weekend.
Makes a lot of sense.
Certainly very interesting. So we'll get to that and more coming up next after a check of traffic. Ben Woods continuing on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, going to tell you about Trust and Will. Woodsy, if he was here, would also be nodding along and saying, get your trust, get your affairs in order the easy way by going to trustandwill.com, answering a short, online questionnaire. It took me about 20 to 25 minutes, really tops, to answer the questions. And then once I did, Trust and Will was able to send me in the mail real documents, real estate documents that I could keep in my files, in a safe place in case I ever need them. Hopefully not for a long time, but you know what I'm talking about. If you leave your affairs not in order, you can subject your family to a lengthy and costly process known as probate court, where the courts decide what happens to all your assets. They don't just automatically go to your spouse or your kids. If you don't lay it out, they need to get the courts involved, and then they've got to pay big-time fees. They may not have access to the funds for months and months and months, but with the trust, they can get access to your money, your assets right away. And it's so simple and affordable. So go to trustandwill.com, start the process, and then when you check out, make sure you use the code FAN, F-A-N, get 20% off, which is already an affordable process. It's not like going to a lawyer. It's an affordable process, 20% extra off, and free shipping of your estate documents by using the code FAN at checkout. Don't put it off. Get that peace of mind knowing your family's going to be taken care of no matter what by going to trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Got our buddy Craig Elston coming up at the bottom of the hour. First, though, it is time for Don't Do This. It is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't
leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do
set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit
Don't
trust
do this
and will.com for more info. I was just talking about trust and will. All right, I will get us started. And I understand there are much more heinous crimes against humanity, murder and
that's one.
Just like really bad things. But I don't know. This feels like among the lowest of the low. To be the person who sells other people's stolen stuff. And a New York City pawn shop owner this last week pleaded guilty to buying and selling luxury items stolen by the crew that victimized athletes, including for our Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow. So Burrow was playing, it was last December, playing on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. Items were stolen from his home. And then this guy, Dmitry Neshinsky of North Bergen, New Jersey, pleaded guilty Friday to one count of conspiracy to receive stolen property in a Brooklyn federal court. He admittedly knowing he purchased stolen property, including high-end watches, jewelry, and handbags. I mean, you're not the one going out and stealing it yourself, which is bad. But if you're stealing it, you're taking the risk. The cops, the security, and everything. You're just the guy who sells the stolen goods.
Without knowing exactly what it was and what everything looked like that he was trying to sell, I guess my only question is, what was your plan there? What's the end game? If you're selling anything that has Joe Burrow's name on it and he's reporting it to have been stolen, it seems like that's the one. It's one of one.
In the movies, the pawn guy is always like, oh, I didn't know this was stolen. Right. I thought maybe he sold it, for some extra cash. No, if it was just rid of it or whatever.
If it was a chain that looked like any other chain.
Am I supposed to know where everything came from? Right. The guy sold it to me, said it was legit. They're always feigning ignorance, but for once, at least, this guy didn't get away with it. And was charged with, running a black market pipeline, buying stolen luxury goods from organized theft crews that targeted homes and businesses. And, of course, this trend of targeting athletes continued with I could tell Marte's house being robbed last week, and Marte actually took, I think, the weekend off to deal with whatever was going on with his home. So it hasn't stopped. I know it's probably not the same crew, but certainly like a trend, and not like a cool, fun TikTok trend. This is
No.
like a bad trend.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we've been talking about it. Like, I don't know what the solution is, but with Marte, Burrow, I think Travis Kelce had his house broken into. Like, it's a weird problem that's going on in professional sports, and I don't know exactly what to do to fix it. But we'll move on into the NFL here for Don't Do This. Now, we saw this story throughout all of last week, and we didn't make a conscious effort to like avoid it. We were just kind of waiting to see how it played out. But Lloyd Howell Jr., he's one of the leaders, former leaders of the NFL Players Association. We saw the news that he had stepped down from his role with the NFLPA last week, and we were kind of wondering what happened, what's going on there. ESPN had done some deep dive investigative work on some shady deals that he had been a part of. He released a statement last week, the blanket statement of, I don't want anything that I'm doing to distract from the good work that the NFLPA is doing. So I have made this decision to step down. Well, we got a little bit more details over the weekend. A outside investigator that was hired by the union provided documents that showed that Lloyd Howell Jr. was charging the union accounts for visits to strip clubs. And I think at face value, that's a don't do this. But then I started thinking about like the gray area of if that can be a business meeting, right?
Yeah,
you can have definitely business meetings at gentlemen's clubs like that.
It was couched as entertainment for like clients. Like, hey, we've got some NFL players. We need to entertain them while they're in town.
You pay for it. That is money that can be legitimately spent.
So did we expense any of our visit when we went to Explicit during fantasy camp?
We didn't, and I'm wondering, could we have? Probably not, because we weren't hosting anyone. We were entertaining ourselves.
If we had like taken, I don't know, like Jake Cronenworth with us, we could have said, this is, hey, we're entertaining a player, we're fostering a relationship. Right. Because we just went on our own,
I think you could write that off.
We had to pay for it ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Now, there were some
of the charges were ridiculous, though.
What was the car service?
The car service, he charged the union for 2 visits to strip club, including a $740 car service that took him from the airport to the club. And I'm going, what the hell?
What kind of car?
Did he get? What is that, a 20-minute ride? Like, this should be like $40, my guy, even in an Uber Black or like the XL.
Did the strip club come in the car with him?
Right. Now it says it dropped him off, or it picked him up at the airport at 10:30 p.m. one night, dropped him off at a strip club, and picked him up, or I guess it stayed there for 8 hours, and
so
took him home
the
at
waiting
6
charges.
So I think it was $800 for the whole night. Paying a
learn
car
how to
service.
use an Uber, man. I mean, they'll come pick you up at late. You don't have to have the guy
Just call
wait
another
for 8
car.
hours. Just call another car. Save yourself, I don't know, $700, and your union $700 by not having the guy wait around all day.
There was another instance back in February during the NFL Players Association Summit where Lloyd Howell accompanied employees to another strip club, and they brought up $2,500 almost in charges, which included cash withdrawals from ATM machines and VIP rooms and all of that.
I mean, you don't want to be the budget guy if you're trying to entertain like NFL players. Oh yeah, no, enjoy yourself, but no VIP room, no. Yeah, we can't get the nice champagne. We're only getting
no bottle service.
Yeah, just not anything under like $60 a bottle is fine, but anything higher we can't afford. You're not going to really tell them not to, so obviously it's going to get pretty expensive.
Yeah, so
it is some gray area.
All that came out, and he has stepped down from his role.
And J.C. Treader, who's the guy who kind of helped hire him, has also announced he will be stepping down and will not be putting his hat into the ring to become his interim replacement. So a big change in leadership in the NFL
when multiple
Players
people are
Association.
resigning, you got to think it. We talk about that gray area, like some lines were crossed.
Finally, I've got a do this.
DD mega do.
It's a small do this inside a larger don't do this. The Philadelphia Phillies were doing their kiss cam during the game over the weekend, and going through, finding people in the stand. I mean, you've seen it a million times. And then they found the Philly fanatic and then the female Philly fanatic. And he had his arms kind of around her like the CEO at the Coldplay concert. And then they acted like, oh, they got caught. So the Philly fanatic having an affair. I laughed. It was pretty funny. It went pretty viral over the weekend.
I think every team did it, and it was great every single time.
But the problem is that, it's already been overdone. Can we just be done now with Coldplay CEO? I heard he stepped down. I don't even know what's true anymore on this story, and I don't want to follow it anymore. I am very tired of the Coldplay concert story. So
I don't know.
Can this just be it now? Can we just move on?
It hasn't even been a week.
Can we find
give it a week?
Something else to entertain us with our lives?
I think you got to give it at least a week.
So we still have like 3 or 4 more days
Couple
before
days,
we can move on to another meme or whatever.
I mean, as of right now, that's one of the funnier, bigger, goofy storylines of 2025, right?
Yeah. So far, it's probably
Massive.
the most viral thing that's happened all year long.
It was insane.
There's a guy who's got a sign that says, "This is my wife," which is pretty funny too. And
Every time it got me.
That is don't and do this for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, when we come back, our buddy Craig Elston is going to join us, get his thoughts on the 1-1 draw for SDFC. Was that a good result, a bad result, or kind of a neutral? It was a tie, but it was a home game. We'll get Craig's thoughts on that, and we'll talk Padres with the host of the Padres Hot Tub Podcast. That is coming up next year with Ben and Paul on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Got Craig Elston standing by. We'll talk more Padres and a little SDFC as well. First, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples, calling all parents and teachers. At Staples, your back-to-school budget is officially saved by the button, the easy button, with supplies as low as 25 cents, plus laptops up to 40% off and more deals on top brands and trending styles. Find it all at Staples. That was easy. Craig Elston joining us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring Water. Just one thing to mention here. Looks like tow truck is going to be needed for this stalled vehicle that's partially blocking the left lane of the College Avenue off-ramp of westbound 8. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all of their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And as we say good morning to our friend Craig Elston from the Padres Hot Tub Podcast, I just want to say I'm glad we both made it through alive in 2000 through the Dan Serafini era of Padres baseball, Craig.
We did it. We did it. Julius Matos, Dan Serafini. What other names? Should we remember some guys this morning?
Well, it's not remembering some guys. You saw that Dan Serafini was convicted of murder last week. So, you didn't see that story?
No.
Yes, Dan Serafini murdered his father-in-law and attempted to kill his mother-in-law in some sort of financial scandal, and his side piece was also convicted of it as an accomplice. Very, very bad story for a one-time Padre that Craig and I covered in the early 2000s.
Would you like to change your reaction to Ben's original crack of the joke?
I'm just not remembering old Padres. That was
okay. Well, yeah, that guy sucked.
There you go, Craig. Good reaction. Yeah, Craig missed that whole
Holy
"Don't Do
crap.
This" story last week.
Yeah, I
apparently.
wasn't. Yeah, well, I wasn't at a Coldplay concert, so I didn't.
That's
really,
true. That's
really
true.
Lock in for me.
Let's start with SDFC, and then we'll get into the Padres here in a second. It's kind of a weird point in the season because in the last 3 home games, SDFC has managed just 1 out of 9 possible points in the standings, which is kind of really bad. But they keep winning on the road and collecting 3 points every time they go on the road, which is really, really good. Do you think they're at a kind of a critical juncture here right now after the 1-1 draw against Vancouver on Saturday?
Well, yeah, and I heard your tease going into the break. How do you interpret that draw? And I'll tell you what, that's one of those draws that felt like a win, because San Diego FC right now is in a tenuous place where if everything fell wrong, you could see the season collapsing on itself. And the reason for that is we are now in the middle of the summer, but that means you're in the middle of the schedule. The games are coming fast and furious. And the one thing SDFC does not have, they don't have a second team. There's no SDFC 2 that they can call players up from.
This would be like the Padres not having a AAA El Paso squad to even call up any guy to be a designated hitter for a couple of days, or like to bolster the bullpen.
Exactly. How about having no AAA, no AA, no single A, no low A, and you're bringing in your first Arizona Rookie League class like in a month or two? That's where SDFC is. So whenever they lose a player, they have to go outside to go get a player. And as such, when you see Milan Alosky leave this team, when you see Jasper Loffelsund leave this team, and then you see injuries to guys like Chris McVeigh, Patty McNair, all of a sudden, Anibal Godoy, all of a sudden it starts stacking up. And Saturday night, Ben, SDFC played a back line, a defensive back line that aged 18, 19, 22. Across the side. I mean, they played teenagers and one kid who could have a beer after the match as their defensive line, and those kids stepped up against another top side. Vancouver, some of the best speed on the wing and at forward in MLS, and Mano Dua, Ian Pilcher, Oscar Verhoeven, Luca Bombino. Those kids did the job. They really locked in. They did the job. Pilcher even wound up getting the goal off a set piece in the middle. So really, really encouraging, because STFC is being brought down to the bottom of their depth chart and being asked to put those players into critical roles, critical minutes, and they're responding.
And it was Pilcher who took the penalty right in the last game that tied it late. So that was a nice little bounce back and a little redemption for him as they, stole that point and, more importantly, stayed in first place. Now, I don't know that they'll be able to hold on to first place. Maybe that's unrealistic for an expansion team, but you don't have to be in first place to make the playoffs. You only have to be in the top, 9 in MLS. Yeah. So they're still in really good position going forward.
They are. And the one thing that first place gets you is a bye in the first round of the playoffs. 2 through 9 are going to square off and 1 gets to sit out. So, that's nice if you can get it. Honestly, what we're going to find out about SDFC, very much like what we're going to find out about the Padres, Ben, it's all going to come in the next weeks. It's Thursday that the transfer window opens in soccer. And Sporting Director Tyler Heaps said explicitly over the weekend he's got deals with about 4 guys who will be coming to San Diego FC. We're going to see those names pop up over the course of the next week or two, and those are going to be the reinforcements for this club. Now, it's not going to be a third designated player. He has made that clear. The club is not going to pay for a third DP. They're going to go with the younger route. So that does give you a couple extra $1 million to spend, though, when you make that decision within MLS's rules and framework. So I'll be very curious to see how it goes. And just to kind of tag last week's discussion, everything I heard over the weekend was that basically SDFC had a number at which they were really happy to bring Milan Alosky back. And Alosky asked for maybe 3 or 4 times that number. And that was going to stop the other guys who they've already agreed to deals with from being able to come in. So that's why that all fell apart. It's a big bummer because there's a number 9 sized hole in the frontline attack for SDFC, but hopefully a reinforcement is coming soon.
And the newcomers, whoever they may be, probably not available for Friday night's game against Nashville. They'll need some training first before they get going, but that's next up for SDFC. Another home game, third in a row, Friday night against Nashville at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, let's shift our attention to the Padres, Craig, and we're kind of getting to the point of the season where you can look at the standings, and there's actually a little bit of separation in the National League. You got two teams in each division that have created just a little bit of space. The Mets and the Phillies in the East, the Cubs and the Brewers now locked in a very tight race in the Central, and the Dodgers and the Padres have now slightly separated from the Giants in the NL West. Usually, I said this last week, usually if you're in a playoff spot at the All-Star break, you're in good shape, but someone always kind of loses out there. Do you think those 6 teams now will all be in the playoffs at the end of the season?
And then the classic when you ask that question is it always seems like that is the case at the time, right? I think every time you ask this question, people go, oh, yeah, I do think these 6 will be the ones that wind up in it. Well, I do believe the Padres can and should be one of those teams. Milwaukee's won 10 games in a row, and 6 of them have come at the hands of the Dodgers. So there's been some weird, screwy things happening in the standings right now. I think the real question from the Padres perspective is, who is your threat? Who is somebody that is a threat to you? Obviously, the Giants remain a threat to you because they are in the division. They're the closest. The Reds, the Diamondbacks, these are teams that have to make a decision really soon as to whether they're going to add to their teams or whether they're going to sell off. A lot of people think Arizona is going to sell off. After that, I mean, the Marlins are a hot team. We're going to see them the next 3 days.
And the Cardinals, who they face this weekend, are probably on the most on the razor's edge of where their season's going to go. If they got swept over the weekend, if they have another bad week, including maybe dropping 3 or 4 to the Padres, they're looking probably for excuses to sell at that point, and the Padres could give it to them this weekend.
Well, I hope they give it to them all weekend long. And then we can scratch them off the list then, as we would say, Major League style. I do think that it's starting to crystallize the National League playoff field. I think Milwaukee's a lot better than anyone thought. We all knew Chicago was good. We knew the Mets and Phillies were good. We knew the top of the NL West is good. And I think there's 4 teams in the NL West that are all good. So, San Diego's not out of the hot seat. I got 2 guys for you, though. I know you've been talking trades. And we talked about this on the last Padres Hot Tub podcast as well. I got 2 guys for you that I feel like would both help this team and that the price should not be high. Are you ready? Let me see if I can get you to go along.
Okay.
First, I want to do a trade with Texas. I want to do a trade with Texas, and I want to go get Kyle Higashioka.
Okay, we talked a little bit about that last week. Yeah.
Should be attainable.
Higgy plus a reliever. They've got relievers that you could get, a Hobie Milner, a Robert Garcia, a Chris Martin. Any one of those 3 guys would really help this bullpen. And I feel like Luis Camposano and a young pitching prospect should be a good price for the Texas Rangers. Get off of the $6.5 million salary of Higashioka. Get a young player that you could plug right into your catching grid with Yona Heim. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like a small deal with Texas to bring Higgy would be a very specific move the Padres could make that could help them. And then my pair to that is to go to Chicago and go get Luis Robert Jr., who, don't look now, but for the last 28 days has an OPS of about 950 and has been really trending up. His season average is over 200. Again, Robert is owed about $6 million the rest of the year. There's a $5 million buyout at the end of the year. So there's about $11 million there. I'm sure the Padres could pay a prospect price to get some of that money taken out. But to be honest, there should be no further price for Luis Robert, who is a guy that the White Sox are looking to move on from as a team. I feel like if you added those 2 right-handed bats to this team and 1 reliever and you get Michael King back, you've got a we ride type of squad for the rest of the year.
All right. I like where you're going there, Craig. I will throw out something that Kevin Acey wrote in today, and it is that the Padres do not seem inclined to commit significantly more resources than they already have to a payroll that stands at $211 million, with a CBT payroll that's slightly over the second threshold. Is there a way to offset even those small increases, even if you get the White Sox to pay some of Luis Robert and Kyle Higashioka's got $2.5 million left this year? Is there anyone you can offload from this team with salary to offset that right now? That could be the harder part of that equation.
Very, very hard, because, I mean, who are you going to trade? What are the obvious possibilities there?
Jake.
I'm going to give you one. Jake Cronenworth, and now you're cutting a core player out of the middle of your infield.
He's having a good season.
He's been quite good. He's actually affordable. When he's playing the way he's playing, he's playing to his contract, no problem. And if you take him out of the middle of the infield, you're putting Luis Ariz or Jose Iglesias in the middle of the infield. Now, Iglesias is a great defender, but he's worn down when you... Ariz is a terrible defender, and putting him at second base would be terrible for the team defensively. So I don't love that. Suarez is the other one. And do you trade your closer in the middle of a pennant race? Nobody does. Would we? I mean, it's not impossible. They could paper over it. Suarez declined in the second half last year. It could even be a bonus for the team theoretically, but it's very dangerous, very risky, and probably requires, as you know, a three-corner trade, because the team that you're getting, Texas and Chicago don't want Robert Suarez or Jake Cronenworth. So you'd need somebody else to be a part of it. This is the last thing I want to say on this. I respect Kevin Acee so much, and he does so much quality, deep digging reporting, and he always gives you the club's perspective. He's written this story 4 years in a row at the deadline. He's written this specific, they can't take on the money, they might need to do this, buy and sell, sell and buy. And every year the Padres do what they do. So I'm not going to read too much into it until it actually happens.
Craig, appreciate it as always. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Look forward to it, boys. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Craig Elston, check out Crossing Streams, Padres Hot Tub, and all of his online channels. Just search him. You'll find him. Craig Elston joining us each week here on a Monday. There's one other option. I can share it with you when we come back that doesn't involve trading Jake Cronenworth or Robert Suarez. It's not all that appealing either, but there is a third possibility. Get to that and more. We got Take on John Flint, and we've got Dennis Lynn all coming up. Hour number 3, Ben and Woods on The Fan. Halfway home on a Monday with Ben and Woods. Still no contact with the big guy. Assuming he is hopefully soundly asleep on an aircraft, and
that's what we're hoping.
We'll safely make it back this afternoon. But Polly and I don't actually know if he made his flight or if he's, still in a hotel somewhere
Shockingly,
in Manchester, like completely oversleeping.
It missed his flight entirely.
And they're like knocking on his door. Hey, Mr. Woods, checkout time was 4 hours ago. You need to vacate the premises. We have no idea.
Yeah, we shockingly, there are not a lot of flights going from London to San Diego each day. I think it's one, maybe two. And we were looking, we're like, I mean, that's got to be his flight. He's somewhere over like Greenland right now.
Should be on a plane right now. If he's not, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Is what we
If
both
he's not
determined.
on a plane right now, he will not be with us tomorrow.
Now, we'd say, well, if he's on a plane, then you're not going to hear from him. But we heard from him a million times on the flight.
The whole flight, all 16 hours.
The
or whatever
Wi-Fi
it was.
was strong. He was communicating, sending us videos. I mean, there was no issues whatsoever on the flight to London. But on the flight back, not a word from Woods so far. So hopefully he's okay.
He texted me late last night here in San Diego. Like I was already asleep. It was like 10:30 or something. And he texted
in
me
the morning.
And I'm doing the math. I'm like, all right, that's like 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. his time. So I'm like, all right, that's a little early. Not necessarily for him, but still early on vacation. Maybe he's getting out and getting on his way to London so that he can get on this flight. But we haven't heard from him. We don't know.
No. So we surprise tomorrow. Hopefully Woods gets back. Texts us, maybe sends a social media post or
the flight that he's allegedly on may or may not be on lands at like 3:00 today.
All right, we'll find out.
San Diego,
At some point we will learn the fate of Mr. Woods. Our thanks again to Craig Elston. Spicy little conversation we just had with our buddy talking Padres baseball and the trade deadline. And I threw in that nugget from Kevin Acee in his daily newsletter this morning that again, the Padres do not seem inclined to commit significantly more resources than they already have to their payroll. So, quote, a sort of buy and sell approach where they swap some salary commitments has been increasingly seen as a way to get the impact bat they need. Craig mentioned, Robert Suarez as a player they could trade. He has a $10 million salary and is going to opt out at the end of the year. So you could get something for him and save some money that you could spend on a bat or two at the deadline without increasing your payroll commitment. But then you've left yourself another bigger hole in your bullpen without your closer going forward. Jake Cronenworth has drawn some interest around the league. He's having a good season. He gets on base. Guy to have in the clubhouse. Considered now affordable with his long-term deal that he signed a few years ago with the Padres. But then you're taking out a core player from your lineup that has already had trouble getting on base. And what are you replacing him with if you trade Jake Cronenworth? The third option, also not completely palatable, but probably one that Padres fans would be able to stomach a little more, would be trading away a prospect and attaching a contract or two to that prospect. So you'd give up, I'm not saying one of your highest prospects, not Leo DeVries or Ethan Salas, but like a pretty decent prospect and saying, but you have to take Wandy Peralta with you, or Wandy and another salary to save $3 or $4 million the rest of the year.
Like $7 a year?
Wandy makes like $4, I think. Not an insane amount, so you'd only be saving about a little less than $2 million at this point. You might need to find some more salary somewhere else, but it is possible. It will require some creativity on the part of AJ Preller, if that is really true. As Craig pointed out, Kevin has kind of sounded the alarm on the finances before, and then the Padres kind of ignored it and decided to spend a little bit more in pursuit of winning in the past. Will they do that under John Seidler? This is his first trade deadline as the control person of the team. Will they be willing to go? If they're over that second deadline, that's at least $4 million in just penalties right there, and increasingly more the more you go over. So if they add a few more million, they could be looking at adding 10 to 15 million to their costs for the team without getting a ton back in return just by going over the luxury tax. So getting a lot of keep Jake, trade Jake in the chat.
It's gonna be so fascinating to see how they pull this off.
It will be interesting. It's one of the more fascinating trade deadlines for AJ Preller coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And next Thursday we'll know. Next Thursday is the Major League Baseball trade deadline on July 31st.
Like, teams that are active as buyers, like, you're in it for this year. You're going for it. Those teams don't typically ship out a lot of major league talent, especially key players like Robert Suarez or Jake Cronenworth.
No, but the Brewers did it a couple of years ago when they traded Josh Hader. Didn't work out well, but they tried. It did not work. So, there's a risk.
Use them
there.
As the example.
There is a risk. What does it look like if you trade Jake Cronenworth? Like, is he?
It looks like a very big gamble to me. Depending on what you get back,
like in the future, it opens up second base for Xander Bogaerts to move back over there, which I think has always kind of been the idea for the Padres. But then you have an empty spot at shortstop, and Leo Dallas DeVries. I think he had a walk-off or a 10th inning winner for Fort Worth yesterday, but he's still in Single A, and he's still one of the youngest players in Single A. And he's doing okay. He's got like a 750 OPS. He just played in the Futures game, but he's not like tearing it up so much that you go, oh yeah, he's ready. No, it looks like he's
not your opening day shortstop next year.
He needs at least another year in the minors, if not, 2+ years in the minors before he's going to probably be a Major League Baseball shortstop. So you would then, even if you move Xander, then you need to find a shortstop going forward. So I don't know if the Padres can really afford, from a roster standpoint, to trade Jake Cronenworth at this point. He's having a good season.
He is, and you got him locked up till 2030, 2031?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
$12 million a year. Yeah, I mean, like, in the short term, it's a gamble, because if you're going to put Iglesias out there every day, like, yeah, if he starts hitting and gives you a good defensive performance, then it's not that big of a deal. That's putting a lot on
the Mets
his
essentially
shoulders.
did it last year. They took Iglesias, made him a full-time player in the second half of the season, and he helped carry them to the National League Championship Series. So there's recent history where that's been done, but he was a little bit better hitter. I mean, he's kind of looking better lately, and had another double yesterday. He's been hitting better lately. Can you count on him, though?
That's the question.
Every day in the lineup, especially, he's mostly facing lefties. If you're going to have him against righties now because he's an everyday player, is he going to go back and be like a 215 hitter and with a 280 on base percentage? Because Jake's getting on base over 35% of the time. That's a big drop off. When you're trying to add to your offense, that's a big drop off that then you have to account for.
Yeah, and then you think about like next year, which again, it's not fun for me to think about next year or beyond that when we're focused on a pennant race this year. But I don't know that Xander moves to second base next year. I think he does eventually. Obviously, in his tenure here with San Diego, he will be the second baseman and eventually maybe a first baseman or a DH. But with nobody really on his heels to play shortstop, and I guess you could go acquire one in the offseason, but now we're having the same discussion about shortstop as we are about second base, depending on how you move Xander. So, like, I don't know. I think Xander's got to be your shortstop at least another year before DeVries is ready.
Yeah, I
think
who
plays second
right
base
now. I think Xander is definitely your starting opening day shortstop in 2026.
Right.
All right, we got to stop
I don't
this
know who plays
conversation.
second base, though.
Stop this conversation, because look who the cat dragged into our YouTube stream, Paulie.
Oh, he's alive.
Woodsy, a little hello, everyone. Is this from 45,000 feet? I have no idea. 6 hours left. Yeah, he's on his plane. He is on the flight, and he is on his way back to San Diego. Well, Woods, we're glad that you made it onto your flight. Paulie and I were a little bit worried that you were semi-conscious, still in a Manchester hotel room, and they were knocking at the door to try to get you to leave. So it's good to know that he has made his flight and is heading back to San Diego.
6 hours left. Yeah, that's we've found him on Flight Tracker.
So he's near the East Coast, coming over probably the Arctic Circle, because I think when you fly from England, you actually go up and then down and over like Canada and come straight down to San Diego.
He's about to enter Canadian airspace over Quebec. He's in between Greenland and Canada.
All right. Well, he is on his way back, everybody. That is absolutely good news. Meanwhile, we also talked with Craig about the playoff races in the National League. So I looked it up on Fangraphs, Paulie, the current playoff odds for everyone in the National League. And there is quite a bit of separation. In the NL East, the Phillies have a 90% chance of making the playoffs. The Mets have an 85% chance. In the NL Central, the Cubs have a 96% chance of making the playoffs. The Brewers now have a 92% chance of making the playoffs after their 10-game winning streak. And in the NL West, the Dodgers still have a 99% chance of making the playoffs. And the Padres have a 53% chance, which obviously doesn't make you feel that confident. That's a coin flip one way or the other. But after the Padres, the next highest is the Giants at 31%. So they've definitely created some separation from the other teams in the race in terms of who has their chances. Now, if you add all the other teams collectively, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Reds, you get to about 47%. So all those teams collectively have almost half the chance, and the Padres on their own have the other half of the chance to make the playoffs. So in that sense,
they're in a good position, man.
Just this weekend, it's gone from below 50% to over 50% for the Padres. So they're definitely trending in the right direction in terms of making the playoffs. But as 53% will tell you, far from a done deal or a sure thing that the Padres can expect to be in the postseason. They need to keep playing well. They need to add to their offense, and they're going to need to continue to move away from the rest of that pack to avoid. I mean, you don't want to be. I mean, you could be sitting 5 games up for a playoff spot in September, and the Cardinals can run off 17 straight wins, and there's nothing really you can do about that.
Right.
You could finish strong and go 12-5, and all of a sudden that team caught you. Now that's rare, but we saw it happen a couple of years ago with the Cardinals. We saw Rocktober way back in 2007 when the Rockies did it. So you're kind of playing with fire if you're just 3 or 4 games up. If you can add to this now 2.5 game advantage over the next couple of months and build it up to 6 or 7 games, then all of a sudden, as long as you don't collapse, you should be in pretty good shape. But
are you, I don't know, are you letting yourself dream about the division right now? 3.5 games back with certainly a lot of winnable games on your schedule the rest of this month.
Padres with the 4th easiest schedule left in baseball.
We talked about it several times.
Dodgers also have like the 5th easiest schedule, so it's not
right.
It's not like you have a huge advantage over them. They're playing bad baseball right now. I watched some of that Dodgers game yesterday. I saw Tommy Edman make a bad throw.
Throw a tantrum after the game.
Andy Pages just threw a glove up and just completely missed a ball that would have ended an inning. Clayton, as a veteran, tried not to react, but he pretty much did his hand. Is like, oh, come on, come on, guys.
Threw a fit in the dugout.
He was not happy,
and then was asked about reporters after the game, and he just, I'm going to get myself in trouble if I say anything else. So we're going to end this. And
you know what I'm going to say? The division is still winnable for the San Diego Padres.
We talked about it a few times last week, and how the month of September has a lot of very winnable games, but how do you do in August? Like, there's that gauntlet of a couple of weeks where it's just nothing but Giants and Dodgers in August, and how that can really turn the entire conversation. I mean, depends on how you do, but all of a sudden you're looking at 3.5 games back right now I got to imagine the Padres are going to be favored in just about every game the rest of this road trip against the Marlins and the Cardinals. And if they can pick up a couple more games and they stay in that 2 to 4 games back range heading into those 2 weeks in August against the Giants and the Dodgers, you're like, that could shape the division race.
Yeah, I mean,
there.
I'll lay out an optimistic scenario for you. Padres continue to do what they've done all season long, and that is beat up on the bad teams, win 2 out of 3, like they did against the Nationals. And if they continue to do that, they will remain in the race with the Dodgers. Then you get to August, and hopefully, like by August 5th to 10th, you get Michael King back for a little warm-up start, and then you insert him fully into the rotation for that 2-week stretch against the Giants and the Dodgers. Yu Darvish makes a couple of vintage Yu Darvish Dodgers starts where he holds them down. and you've made a trade or two at the deadline, guys who come in, good change of scenery, come in hot in August, and you've lengthened your lineup, and you go on a bit of a run. Yeah, absolutely. By the end of that stretch, by the end of August, the Padres could be in first place in the National League West. I think more realistic, Dodgers get some of their pitchers back. They're probably going to start winning games at a much higher clip. It's going to be hard to make up those 3.5 games, no matter how you play.
I think the odds are still stacked against you. I was just wondering if, that number was 5.5 like a week ago. So seeing it get a little bit closer, I was just wondering if you're letting yourself dream.
According to Fangraphs, the Padres' chance to win the division is now at 5.3%.
So you're
Dodgers
telling me there's a chance.
91.5% still to win the NL West. So we're talking 1 in 20. I actually think it feels like it should be a little bit better than that. That seems a little low, considering the Dodgers just got swept again by the Brewers and are not playing good baseball.
You're telling me we're 3.5 games back with 2.5 months to play.
I want to bring this back because I think there's a truth that we have learned about this baseball season that I want to get to. We'll get to that coming up later after Dennis Lynn joins us. I got John Flint standing by, though. So let's take a time out. We'll play a little Take on John as Woods heads back to San Diego from England. And we'll give you a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, I want to tell you once again about 7 Mile Casino. It's our card room down in Chula Vista. Make it yours as well. Not only is it much easier to get to than any of the other card rooms in San Diego, quite frankly, it's just a lot nicer. It's really upscale. They got windows, beautiful view out onto San Diego Bay. I know you're not going to a card room for the view, but it's nice when you're in there. But importantly, they take care of their players really well. Friendly dealers, good staff, comfortable chairs. And if you're a high-limit player, they want to take care of you and make 7 Mile Casino your spot, whether it's California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, or Baccarat. Play any of your favorite card games there at 7 Mile. Enjoy a great meal at Sammy's any time of the day, 24/7. Option inside of 7 Mile Casino at Sammy's. It's absolutely terrific. Any time of the day, right now, Monday morning, Friday night, Sunday, anytime. Please check out 7 Mile Casino. Hop on the 5, head down to Chula Vista, west side of the freeway, Bay Boulevard, 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
We'll take on Woods. John Flynn from KSON went down the hall. Johnny, good morning. It's good to see you.
Hi, gentlemen. Good
We were
morning.
just talking about we both went and saw Superman over the weekend.
I thought it was busy fun.
That's a fair way to say it. There was a lot going on in that movie, and I'm not gonna say it's gonna win any Academy Awards, but it was an enjoyable 2.5 hours.
Is it the best superhero movie I've ever seen? No. Did I enjoy myself? Yes.
Correct.
That's all I can ask for, right?
Johnny's here to play a little take on John. We got a contestant on the line. Looks like Daniel's going to play. So, Paulie, if you would, let's get going. All right. And Daniel, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. All right. If you can beat or tie John in our game today, we'll put you into our grand prize drawing. Good prize this month. It's 2 nights at the Park MGM in Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Motley Crue on September 19th, along with a $100 gas card. Get your tickets to see Motley Crue at Ticketmaster.com. Here are your categories to take on John. We've got beatboxing, 5 song titles and musical artists, including the word beat. Y-O-Y, 5 different bands whose names begin with the letter Y. And Mothers and Fathers, 5 song titles that include either mother or father in the title. So beatboxing, Y-O-Y, or Mothers and Fathers. Daniel, what would you like to play?
Let's try Y-O-Y.
Y-O-Y. All right, 5 different bands whose names begin with the letter Y. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is our 2-second song. Paulie's going to play you a short clip. You need to give me the song title and that artist starting with the letter Y to score the point. Daniel, are you ready to play?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Paulie, we good? Thumbs up. All
I'm
right.
ready.
60 seconds on the clock. The category is Y-O-Y. Daniel, your time begins when Paul plays our music. Good luck. Let's take on John.
Pass.
Which 1960s English band helped launch the careers of 3 of rock's most famous guitarists, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page?
Yardbirds.
Correct. Don't Go and Situation were the top 2 hits for which groundbreaking synth-pop duo from the early 80s?
Pass.
Which 21st century New York indie rock band earned Grammy nominations for 4 albums and released singles including Maps and Y Control?
Yeah.
Correct. Which Swiss electronic band song Oh Yeah was featured prominently in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Pass.
All right, let's go back to the 2-second song.
It's Owner of a Lonely Heart. I just can't.
Is
it Yes?
It is yes. Oh, he sneaks it
Ooh,
out. The
got
third
it.
point. That could be big. Daniel, stay on the line. The 2 you didn't get, Yaz, Don't Go in Situation, and Yellow by Oh Yeah. So let's bring in John. I am making an executive decision. John may not like this. I think you're good enough at this game that you have to play under Woods' rules.
Which is,
He does not get the category. You have to kind of figure it out as you go.
All right.
Are you okay with that?
I mean, listen.
All right.
I think I'm Woods-esque when it
I
comes to
think
this
so.
game.
It's a compliment.
Thank
It's a
you.
compliment.
Thank you.
Daniel's
He's,
score is
he's
locked
watching
in.
right now if you want to insult him or
He is in the
anything.
chat.
He's on his plane.
From his airplane.
Oh, and his private jet
Watching
from
the
England.
show. Exactly.
Boy, so
All right,
relatable.
so
relatable.
60 seconds on the clock. Daniel's score is locked in. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, John. Let's take on Daniel.
Yes, Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Correct. Which 1960s English band helped launch the careers
The
of...
Yardbirds.
Correct. Don't Go and Situation were the top 2 hits for which groundbreaking synth-pop duo from the early 80s?
Yeah, Yaz.
Correct. Which 21st century New York indie rock band earned Grammy nominations for 4 albums and released singles including Maps and Y Control?
Pass.
Which Swiss electronic band song Oh Yeah was featured prominently in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yellow.
Correct. Which 21st century New York indie rock band earned Grammy nominations for 4 albums and released singles including Maps and Y Control?
I'm sending. It's a Y thing, right?
Correct.
So how much time I got left?
Probably about 5 seconds. 10
Yeah.
seconds, yeah.
I don't know.
All right. You got 4, though, and you snuck out the win over Daniel
All right.
in the category Y-O-Y. The one you didn't get, Daniel did get it, the Yaz.
No.
But he didn't get Yaz or Yellow. So that's the difference in the game.
Hard today.
It's a tricky
Very
one.
difficult
Yeah,
one
well,
today.
just because you didn't get one doesn't mean it was the hardest category, but you did pull out the win, and congratulations. Daniel, well-played game, but John got you today.
What do you think Woods is snacking on in first class right now?
Oh, it's not a snack. It's a full-on
four-course
gourmet
meal.
4-course meal. We saw what he ate on the plane ride out.
What was
It was
it?
insane.
Is it okay with talking about this, or
Oh,
we just
absolutely.
outed him?
No.
No.
Everyone
We
knows.
did it
Yeah,
all.
we went through the entire menu on the flight out.
What are they feeding
so.
them on a flight to?
Let's see. On the
England?
way out, he had a beautiful salad. I mean, it was gorgeous.
Yeah,
then he had
prawns.
the prawns, and then the sea bass, and then the dessert.
Chilean sea bass.
It's all on china and like silver. And
So great.
really,
some sort of a
really-
mousse dessert. I
Yeah.
think.
Listen, if you got to fly first, flying to Europe is the way to do it. I don't know.
The anytime snacks include like a lobster roll if you wanted it anytime on the flight.
Is that true?
Truffles. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
God, man, I flew to
Top
Greece.
shelf alcohol. I mean,
Johnny Walker Blue.
I flew to Greece last spring, and I just made the mistake of glancing to my left as I went back to the poor person section, and they're like laughing at you. They're in a bed,
oh yeah.
you know, getting massages.
Yeah, we're taking a full pod with a bed and
Yeah.
everything.
I'm
It's
jammed in the.
beautiful.
I was one of those big old planes where they have a middle row, So they got the
the
aisle
252
and
kind of,
and I'm
or the
I'm in the middle of the middle.
the middle
row.
of the middle.
It's like a 13-hour flight.
my
There's
God.
not enough vodka in the world.
I did that the one time I flew back from London. I was in the middle of the 5 in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
No, it's not. But
It's not.
whatever. Fly safe,
John,
Woods.
thank you for coming in. Woods, you'll be back hopefully to defend his honor tomorrow. We'll come back. Dennis Lynn, our Linsider, covering the Padres and trade deadline questions and more, will join us coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
And I do not mean Colorado, Woods, of Florida. He's in Miami for the opener to the Padres 3-game series against the Marlins. Coming up this afternoon, our time at 3:40 San Diego time. First, though, Padres fans, you're also going to make sure to tune in to the Manager's Report. Yep, this week is a Mike Schilt week. Friday, 9 a.m. here on Ben and Woods. The Manager's Report is refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Dry alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Yeah, we'll get Dennis's post-All-Star break thoughts on the Padres right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Oceanside Police Department, now hiring public safety dispatchers. Still a few problems here, guys. One of them is this crash westbound 8 just before the 805. Got a vehicle in the center divide, went over to the right shoulder. Stalled car on Sapon 5 at the King Freeway. It's over to the right shoulder. Crash has cleared on the El Cajon Boulevard on-ramp to northbound 15. The Oceanside Police Department is hiring public safety dispatchers. Earn up to $87,000 a year. Lateral bonuses up to $11,000. 12-hour shifts, 3-day work weeks, paid holidays, benefits, and retirement. If I didn't love my job so much, I'd apply. You can apply at joinopd.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Happy Monday, Padres fans. It's time to discuss the weekend that was for the Padres with our Ben and Woods Linsider, Dennis Lin from The Athletic. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks, it gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
And we welcome Dennis Lin from The Athletic into Ben and Woods this morning. And Dennis, hope you had a good All-Star break. Did you get some time off? Did you enjoy yourself?
I did get some time off. I did enjoy myself. I'm not going to say I'm thrilled to be back in the All-Star break, but hey, it happens every year. I'm sure I'll get over it at some point.
How's the weather in Miami? Not that, I mean, they have a roof, so it's not going to impact the game, obviously. But Padres just played a hot, sticky series in Washington. Got another one in St. Louis coming up. How are things in Miami right now?
Yeah, it's pretty balmy outside. Haven't stepped foot outdoors yet today, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be in the 90s and humid. But yeah, thank God for the roof.
I know they don't let Major League Baseball teams wear their City Connects on the road, but I always felt like the Padres have the most Miami City Connect uniforms. Like they'd look really good in the color scheme of Miami.
Is that something that Major League Baseball should change? And when, like, if a team travels for
Like
a
a road
weekend
version.
series
Why
in
not?
San
I wanna see
Diego,
it. Yeah.
you know the Padres will be wearing their City Connects on Friday night. Is that good for the other team to wear theirs as well? And I don't know.
Dennis, any thoughts on that?
You know, I hadn't put much thought to that, but it doesn't seem like a bad idea. I mean, it's all about marketing, right? The league wants to market itself better, so maybe that's an idea they should explore in future years. But right now, I think they're going to go with the usual pinstripes on the road tonight. So we'll see. But yeah, I think anything that spice up the game is probably a good thing, worth exploring.
All right, Dennis, let's start with takeaways from the series in Washington. I thought the best news from the entire weekend had to be the performance of Dylan Cease on Friday night, looking much more like Dylan Cease. What were your kind of thoughts on that outing paired with Elias Diaz versus Martin Maldonado, and just kind of different pitch mix and just better Dylan Cease?
Yeah, I thought it was about time to maybe mix up that pairing, and I think Dylan. I wasn't there for that series, but I did see he said after that game he feels badly that he couldn't get the same results with Martin because, in his words, like Martin, I'm paraphrasing, has done an equally good job of calling his games as Diaz did the other day. So yeah, it's been a disappointing year for him, but if he can get it turned around in the second half before he goes to free agency and help them into the postseason, I would say that trade they made with the White Sox a little over a year ago would still be well worth it. And then on the other side, I think getting to Mackenzie Gore, former Padre, in the series finale, and more so just the performance of Xander Bogaerts, not only in that game but over the past month, has been very encouraging. I know it's just the Nationals, but these are the series the Padres need to win. They also need to win some of these series against winning teams, which they've had a a problem with pretty much all year. But if they can, nail down this road trip, similar to what they did coming out of the break last year, that really sets them up for the second half. So I think you look at the National League, it's kind of wide open, the majors in general, but especially the National League and the National West, with the Padres only being somehow 3.5 games behind the Dodgers. So, big road series here.
Dennis, you mentioned Xander Bogaerts, who's had a insanely hot month now at this point. He's really been putting it together at the plate. I'm just curious, what are people that are in the organization that you've talked to, what are they saying about Xander Bogaerts? How are they feeling? Is this like a small victory lap? Is it a sigh of relief? Is it we told you this is the guy that we signed, we were just waiting for him? Because we haven't seen this Xander at all in the 2.5 years he's been in San Diego.
Yeah, we really haven't. Not for extended enough period anyway. But yeah, it's more, I think, overall a sigh of relief. It's still going to be probably not the kind of contract that ages well. It really hasn't aged well in the big picture of things. But yeah, if he can contribute in multiple ways, which he's doing right now. I mean, he's still got a low 700s OPS on the season, but if he can, steal bases at the rate he's been doing, and taking his opportunities in the base paths and playing some very solid shortstop, and then chipping in with the bat, that's maybe as good as they can ask for the rest of the way. But he's turned it on offensively, and that's the most important thing for this team, to get him going with the bat, and that's been very encouraging over the past several weeks. So I think you're seeing that he's kind of shrunk down the zone this year. He's, making some really good swing decisions. And again, if he's going to not be the kind of hitter he was in Boston, if he's going to be a multi-dimensional player like he is right now, the Padres will certainly take that.
Dennis Lin from The Athletic is with us, and it was suggested, I think it was one of your other competitors that covers the team, that the health of Xander has been one of the biggest factors in his performance. Obviously had the wrist injury, had the shoulder last year, and now I guess he got another cortisone shot in his shoulder that he was dealing with earlier this year. He seems to react well to those cortisone shots. I know you can't give them too liberally and too often, but do you think that a lot of the struggles that Xander has had throughout his 2.5 years with the Padres have been more health related than anything else?
I do. I mean, his IL stint for the fractured shoulder last year was, I think, his first IL stint in, I don't know, a decade or something like that. Actually, I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not sure if he ever had an IL stint that long before that. So yeah, it's been a different story for him health wise since he got to San Diego, and he's obviously getting up there in age already. So anytime he can kind of have a period where he's not dealing with little nagging things or more serious injuries, we've seen a better version of Xander. And unfortunately, we've seen he's needed these cortisone injections, it feels like quite a bit, throughout his Padres tenure. But yeah, they do seem to help, and it does seem like he's in a good place right now with the shoulder. But we will see going forward to see if he can kind of stay on his feet and stay on the field.
Dennis, you've said it. I've said it. Woods has said it. AJ Preller has said it. They will be acquiring some bats, 1-2 bats to help with a playoff push in August and September before next Thursday. The question now is, will they also be trading away any big league players? We talked about it earlier, in order to maybe shed some salary and stay under the luxury tax, or get something for a player who's going to be gone at the end of the season. Do you see Robert Suarez, Jake Cronenworth, Dylan Cease, Luis Ariz? Do you see any possibility that one or more of those guys gets traded in a kind of a buy and sell situation here in the next 2 weeks?
I do. I don't know how likely it is. And if it happens, I don't see it being maybe more than one guy. It's hard to say which one of those guys, right? I mean, Luis Ariz, Dylan Cease, they would both be sell lows. And how much would you really get for either one of them? At the same time, I think both those guys are qualifying offer candidates, in the off season, and the Padres are well over the luxury tax. They're going to be well over the luxury tax at the end of the year. So that means if you let them walk, and give them a qualifying offer that they turned down, they signed somewhere else, you only get a pick after the 4th round for each of them. So maybe that's something they have to weigh versus, trying to get something for them now. But I mean, they need Dylan Cease, the version, especially of him, what they got in Washington. And I don't know how they're going to replace him with enough innings if they trade him now. And then Luis Ariz, again, his value's just down a lot around the league. So he's a guy that you would have to replace as well. I don't know if you want to put, you could trade him and then put Gavin Sheets at first base, and put Jay Cronenworth at, well, I guess he wouldn't move, but it's another hole you have to fill in left field, which is already a hole. So I think there's some complicated questions here with whether they want to buy and sell at the same time. But I do think with their payroll situation and probably not having a lot of room to add money, it is something they consider. And it's also why they're so interested in a guy like Jarren Duran, who's not making that much money salary-wise. So, some good questions heading into July 31st.
Now, finally, Dennis, this series against the Miami Marlins, there's going to be a perception that the Padres should roll over this team. I view this series as kind of dangerous. The Marlins have been playing decent baseball and have some good arms going in this series. How do you kind of view the next 3 days here?
Yeah, I agree. It's there aren't many any real super teams in the NL this year. It feels like there's also a lot of teams bunched up in the middle, and they're one of them. Not that they're going to buy or anything at the deadline, but they obviously look like they're going to be sellers. But they've been playing really well of late. It seems like I saw something about how they were celebrating drawing like 46,000 fans to Lone Depot Park over the weekend over 3 games. I mean, that's one game for Petco, but for the Marlins, that's quite a bit. So there's some exciting building, I think, locally about this team that they are at least showing they can be semi-competitive. So I don't see it as a walk in the park at all. But again, the Padres have been really good against these sub-500 teams, so they need to continue taking care of business here.
All right, good to have you back, Dennis. We'll see if it's going to be an interesting week in Miami and St. Louis, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there he is, Dennis Lin from The Athletic, getting back into the swing of things post-All-Star break for the Padres. He thinks maybe one guy could be traded, but doesn't really think the value for Luis Ariz or Dylan Cease is that high around the league. I mean, you could save a significant chunk of money on either of those guys, but you're just creating more holes to fill if you trade one of those guys as well. It's a tough situation for A.J. Preller going forward. If there is salary considerations to be dealt with because of the luxury tax, there is no perfect solution for the San Diego Padres. I think that answers all of their problems. And by the way, if you wanted to trade, even if you wanted to trade one of your top prospects, the latest news on Ethan Salas wasn't particularly good. Our friend Kyle Glazier from Baseball America, isn't that where he's with still?
I don't think he's there anymore.
He's no longer there. Where is he?
Freelancing
right now. Well, he reported that the recovery from the stress fracture in Ethan Salas' back is going slower than the Padres had kind of hoped. And he's, not really that close to catching any games. He's kind of taking like fake catching in the back, but in terms of like swinging and getting back into minor league baseball, it's looking more and more like this is just going to be a lost season of development for Ethan Salas. Now, in the minors, you can lose a season and still play winter ball and,
Sure.
through the year and kind of catch up with what you missed. So it's not
Arizona Fall League.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a complete disaster, but in terms of like what they were hoping to see from Ethan Salas, they haven't really gotten an opportunity to see anything from Salas this last off season. So that's not really the best thing in terms of at least creating value. If you were going to trade him, even Ethan Salas's value is kind of low right now because of the injury and the fact that nobody has seen him for so long.
I don't know that it would scare teams off that much, but yeah, no, you'd be selling lower than you could have. I go, with Dylan Cease, I stand by what I said last week. You got to just weigh the options. You got to look at it and go, are we going to get more production back from him, or are we going to get more production out of Cease if we just hope that he gets back to being Dylan Cease? And he was off to a good start on Friday night.
By the way, officially, according to Kyle, no setbacks, just slow healing. No set timeline for Ethan Salas's return per team officials. All right, the truth that I have learned about the National League coming up next year on The Fan. You're not special.
Sorry, jeez.
I wasn't talking to you, Paulie.
Okay.
Wasn't talking to Woods in our YouTube
damn.
stream. Not talking to the tier ones.
Who's not special?
I will tell you momentarily. Final hour here, Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. This hour on The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Overwhelmed by processed foods, U.S. Wellness Meats offers an all-natural alternative. 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more. Shipped free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. No, the answer to that question, the Dodgers are not special. They're just not. Okay. I'm not saying they're not good, and I'm not saying they might not be the best team in the National League. They could still win the World Series, but for what we thought that this could be a truly, historic baseball team, so far from that. So far from that. The Dodgers are riddled with flaws. San Diego Padres, you're not special either. You know what? Philadelphia Phillies, you're not special. Mets, definitely not special. Cubs, you've had some special things. Brewers, they're having a special kind of month here. But ultimately, what I've come to realize about the National League, Paulie, there are no special teams this year, which actually means it's wide open for any of those teams to win the NL and possibly the World Series this year. And we did not know if that was going to be true at the beginning of the season.
Do you think, I know where you're going here, is there still more to be written? Yes.
Well,
can this change?
Someone is going to have a special postseason because, a National League team has to make it to the World Series.
Right.
So someone is going to turn it into a special season. But when you're talking about approaching the trade deadline, it's not only about evaluating your own team and what you need and what you think your chances are. You've got to look at the rest of the league. If the Dodgers were currently sitting, they're 58-42, 3.5 games ahead of the Padres. If the Dodgers were currently 80-20 and on their way to 27 wins and looked absolutely unbeatable, you'd go, why am I trying to improve, my 8 and 9 hitters when now we're only 25 games behind them instead of 30 games behind them? You have to look at context in terms of, if we're going to go for it, do we have an actual chance to win? And one of the biggest takeaways from the first now 4 months of the baseball season almost complete is, any of those top 6 teams at least in the National League. I can see any one of those 6 teams in the World Series. I really don't. I really don't think that there's anyone that has said, "Oh yeah, they've definitely got a much better chance than anybody else." I mean, still the Dodgers are the favorite, odds wise, Fangraphs wise, because they have potential help and starting pitching coming back. But again, they've lost all 6 games to the Milwaukee Brewers. They might have to face the Brewers in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be looking forward to that. Mookie Betts has had a miserable season.
Yeah.
He got benched on Saturday. I mean, day off, whatever you want to call it. They put him in a leadoff spot, trying to mix things up. They are a team in disarray right now in Los Angeles. I mean, they're still very good. I'm not saying they're not. They have Shohei Ohtani, still the biggest freak baseball player on the planet.
Day to day. Got
Freddie Freeman is, I think the X-rays were negative, but they have not been at all a special baseball team, which means, you're absolutely still
they may not
in
be
it.
Having a special year that everybody assumed they would have, but do they not still terrify you?
Terrify? No, they don't. They don't terrify me. They certainly are a force to be reckoned with and will be going forward. What they can buy is the ability to have an absolutely miserable season and still be in first place.
Yeah.
That's what they bought.
They just stay 3 or 4 games ahead in the division and eventually clinch the division mid to late September. And then all of a sudden they get the 1 seed and they go on a roll, and there you go.
100 games in, 58-42. So 580 winning percentage. That's probably the absolute floor of what the Dodgers thought they could be. If everything goes wrong, maybe about 58-42 is where we're going to sit 100 games into the season. So they are certainly still a very dangerous team, but they're not someone that you go, well, we might as well just not even compete this year because they're just so far and away better than anyone else. We have no chance. That is not the case with this LA Dodgers team. I watched them play. This is a messy baseball team. That's a messy baseball team right now.
It's crazy how much is going to change between now and when we next face them in August. And I cannot wait for those 2 weeks or the week span where we face them twice. Because I do feel like we're a better team right now.
Well, okay, Padres play their 100th game tonight. If they win, they will get to 55 wins in 100 games. The Detroit Tigers are the best team in baseball right now. They're at 60 wins in 100 games. They're 60-40. Dodgers, again, are 58-42. Are you telling me
there's a lot of parity in baseball?
Are you telling me there's not 3 or 4 wins in these first 100 that you thought, oh, man, Padres threw a few of those games away that they should have?
Yeah, there's also a few games that they won and had no business winning.
I think overall, when we look at the past, especially 2 months, we go, Padres really should have played 2 or 3 games better each month in May and June, and probably should have about 62 wins right now and have the best record in baseball. If we're really looking at the disappointment of Padres fans with how the team has played sub 500 baseball since they were 11 games above 500 at what were they 17-6 or something like that. So they've been 2 games under 500 since then. If they had played 4 or 5 games above 500, certainly something this team is capable of doing over the past 2 months, they would be sitting with the best record in baseball right now. It wouldn't have been that hard to actually get there. They've had to play pretty crappy, mediocre, bad offensive baseball for 2 months to not have the best record in baseball right now, but still be absolutely in the thick of things and 2.5 games up in a wild card spot and only 3.5 games behind the Dodgers. You told me the Padres could play 2 months of mediocre baseball and the Dodgers would still just be 3.5 games ahead of them. I would have thought no chance this season. Dodgers will be 15 games up at this point, but no, they're right there because
they're chipping away at that lead.
The Dodgers, they're just not special. They're just not. They got some good players. They got some good bullpen guys that give the Padres trouble for certain. But I would love to see. I would love to get my shot at them in the playoffs again. Another series, another opportunity in October against the Dodgers, and see how they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity in baseball right now, which is good if you're a Padres fan and you're saying, hey, like AJ, let's go all in. I mean, come on, it's open for anybody to grab this year, but it's also open for everybody else. Every one of those teams that you just said isn't special. They're all thinking the same exact thing. Hey, we got a real shot this year. Everyone said the Dodgers were going to run away to 115 plus wins and cruise to another World Series, a second one in a row. And that's just not happening, at least right now. That's not coming to fruition. So every one of those teams that are in contention and have one of the top 7 records in Major League Baseball, they're all thinking the same thing. Let's go crazy at this deadline.
Because, I mean, why wouldn't you at this point? Goose asking in the chat, are the Tigers special? Looking in the American League, Tarek Skubal is special. Tigers are not special. They're a good version of this Tigers team and probably the best team in the American League.
I'd say they're having a special season.
No, they just snapped a 6-game losing streak, so that was special yesterday. Good job by the special team in the American League, snapping a 6-game skid. I mean, the Blue Jays are having a nice season. They're not special. Yankees are definitely not special. Red Sox are not special. The Astros, I mean, the Mariners, no. I mean, there's no real special teams in baseball this year. Everybody's got a shot. This is probably as wide open as it's been heading into a trade deadline. Certainly in any recent memory that I have. There's really no one that's totally separated themselves from the field in Major League Baseball this year, which is great. It's very entertaining. That means, the Padres are one of about, 14, 15 teams that probably can still say, yeah, I think we can still win the World Series at this point.
Yeah.
That's going to make for a trade deadline, though, that's an absolute mess here in a couple of weeks because, I mean, who wants to sell? Even the Angels are still 49-50 and only 4 games out of a playoff spot. I mean, the Angels, who should have been dead and buried months ago. The Rangers, 3.5 games out of a playoff spot. We talked earlier about potential, Craig talked about potentially trading with the Texas Rangers. Do you really think that Chris Young and Boch, 3.5 games out of a playoff spot, are going to be eager to deal guys away? They just took 2 or 3 from the special Detroit Tigers who aren't special. I mean, I don't know. It's just parity. It's parity around Major League Baseball this year.
It is, but I don't know, man. I'm still very cautious and nervous with the Dodgers because they haven't lived up to the hype that everyone had predicted before the season started. I'm not ready to be like, oh yeah, we can take them. Let's go.
Luis is saying you can fully hear the flagship hire in Ben. I said the Padres aren't special either. Padres are not special at all in this group. They're not. They're just one of many teams that can win the World Series. So go ahead.
I mean, a glass half empty person would say they're lucky to even be considered in this group of other teams.
Go ahead and take it. I mean, if no one else wants to go ahead and take it, then go ahead and grab it. You've never won a World Series before. There's certainly nothing standing in your way this year from at least, taking that shot, getting hot at the end of the season, making the playoffs, and going in a run in October. There is no world-beating team. You're not meeting the 1998 New York Yankees in the World Series. You're not meeting the 1984 Detroit Tigers in the World Series. And the Dodgers aren't either of those teams that we thought they were going to be. They're beatable. They're tough. I would probably say they'd be the favorite in a series, a 5-gamer or a 7-gamer against the Padres is currently constructed. They'll probably only get better. Hopefully the Padres will also get better, but they're not unbeatable. They are definitely beatable from what I have seen from the Dodgers this season.
Oh, that's why I said I'm excited to see them again next month, and we'll see what both teams look like after the deadline, because I am ready to get another crack at them, but up until this point, what are we, 2-5?
2-5.
2-5. So, I mean, kind of tough to say that they're very beatable.
Padres will need something magical. Like
they're very beatable if you're the Brewers.
I mean, is it likely to happen? But let's say they acquire Luis Robert at the trade deadline. Is he going to be the worst player in baseball, or he find some magic waters in San Diego on a competitive team and do what his talent is capable of? And, 12 home runs down the stretch. All of a sudden, now the Padres look like a legitimate threat. If they get this trade deadline right and get a little lucky, because even A.J. Preller can't predict what a guy like that is going to do if he acquired him, the Padres would be a very dangerous team down the stretch. As currently constructed, the Padres are not that dangerous. There's still too many holes in the bottom of their order, too many question marks. There are flaws that other teams will exploit. But they could get to that point where they'd be a very dangerous team down the stretch.
Yeah, we'll see.
Helps if Xander keeps hitting. That was an interesting part of our conversation with Dennis Lynn in our last segment, is Xander Bogaerts and what is really making him hot right now. And I kind of tend to agree with whether it was AC or wherever I read it, that perhaps health is the biggest key for Xander. And when he's feeling healthy, he can hit over 300. He can give you some doubles, a little bit of power, and he's still playing really good defense. He can be maybe not a $25 million a year player, but he can be an anchor, a really solid 5 hitter in Major League Baseball and a good lineup. When he's not healthy, he's useless. He's almost like a zero. And we saw that with the wrist. We saw that with the shoulder. Maybe he shouldn't have been out there, in large chunks of the last 2 years when he was trying to play. And I'll give him some credit for being a gamer and going out there. When Manny Machado goes out and is a gamer, he still finds ways to generally produce.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the month of June. Was it last year when he hurt his ankle, played for a month? He wasn't good, but he was out there. I mean, it's always the question. Are you doing more harm than good?
Was that when
for your team, when you're going out there less than 100% and really not able to produce the way you're capable of?
That was when he chose not to go on the IL.
Correct.
And we're like, well, now as many games as it's been that he isn't out there, you might as well have just gone on the IL.
But then he came back and played for 3 weeks and really hit like 200. Probably cost him an MVP award.
Yeah,
by doing that.
A couple years ago.
That was 2 years ago when he did that. Yeah. So I mean, the other question is, X knows there's really no one ready to step in and help the team. If he does give me 2 weeks, 3 weeks off and I'll get healthy, who's going to play for him? Right. I'm good enough to go out there and be at least as good as anyone that you don't have in your depth chart. So, maybe he is making the best choice for both himself and the team. But right now he looks healthy, got a cortisone shot, and, swinging the bat well. And, the longer this lasts, the better, obviously, for the San Diego Padres. Productive Xander changes their lineup immensely.
No kidding, dude.
When he's not just the automatic out in the 5th hole or the 6th hole in your lineup, just changes everything so much. And it's been fun to see Xander contribute.
It's been fun. I mean, look, I wish the contract wasn't ever offered, but
he's never going to live up to that contract. So
he will never
stop even talking about it.
He will never live up to it, and it was not a good signing. But he's going to be here for a long time, and we really have no way of changing that. So all we can do is hope that we get some good production out of him, and it's been fun to watch over the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, Xander has been an absolutely productive, positive Major League Baseball player. If not 25 million, certainly someone I'm happy to pay 15 to 20 million for the kind of production that they've gotten out of Xander Bogaerts over the last month. That's fine. I would be I knew everyone knew it was going to be a bit of an overpay. I'm okay with a bit of an overpay. What I wasn't okay with is, you're overpaying him by $23 million a year every year.
His best year, when this contract is said and done, whatever his best year with the Padres is, whether it's this year, whether it was his first year, I don't know. Whether it's going to be in 3 years,
Maybe he's completely
season.
healthy next year and has a really good season. Yeah,
but I still, whatever that best year looks like, it still won't be 25 million. And that's just the way it is.
And we knew that the day he was signed. Yeah. We really did, if we were being honest with ourselves, which is fine.
You want to talk about like being backed into a corner. Like there's no win for Xander.
You're always going to overpay for some players, usually veterans, and you're going to underpay for some other players who are coming up. That's part of the baseball math equation. You just want to not overpay by too much for the older guys, and you'd like to underpay by more for the young guys who are coming up in the big leagues. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. When we come back before the round report, we've got some tickets to give away for everybody who stayed tuned. Your opportunity to win a couple of tickets to the Padres Mets game next week when they come back from this road trip. It'll be a sandless beach towel night at Petco Park on Tuesday. Your opportunity to win a pair of tickets coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I want to talk about SDFatLoss.com right now. SDFatLoss.com having a huge summer sale. You can get almost 20% off their lowest prices of the year. Even better deal right now. And you can start the program during your summer break, or you can start it after your summer vacation if you've got things planned. I lost my weight during the summer, though, up to a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of my body weight in 60 days. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days with no prepackaged meals, no injections, certainly no surgery, nothing like that. You're kind of changing your metabolism. Lower your metabolic age by following the doctor-developed strategies at SDFatLoss.com. Your counselor will coach you through it. You can lose weight fast and save big now through August 1st. Please take advantage of the opportunity. Again, no exercise necessary to lose this weight. You just follow the plan. Eat foods from the grocery store, even go out to eat, and still lose weight. Again, up to a pound of fat per day. Get your free consultation by going online to SDFatLoss.com. And again, take advantage of the huge summer sale. Get 20% off now through August 1st at SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Before you get too excited about the Padres beating up on the lowly Marlins tonight, I'll tell you a little bit about tonight's starting pitcher for the Marlins, Yuri Perez. I believe it's the first time the Padres have ever faced him. 6 hits, 1 run on a solo home run. That's not a bad start, but that wasn't his last start. That's his entire month of July. 6 hits and 1 run allowed in 3 starts. Went 6 innings against the Twins in a 4-1 win, 1 hit shutout. Went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits and a solo home run in a 12-2 win over the Reds, and went 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts against a Baltimore Orioles in an 11-1 win. He's been dominant. Right-hander has been dominant. 22-year-old young prospect for the Marlins. That's who the Padres will be facing tonight in Game 1
Super cool.
of their series with Randy Vasquez on the mound. So, the Marlins overall may not be a good team.
But, of course, we're getting a guy on an absolute heater.
Yeah, he's got 21 strikeouts this month against 1 walk, 1 run allowed in 18 innings, and just 6 hits for a whip of about, I don't know, is that like 0.4 for the entire month? They're facing one of the toughest pitchers in baseball right now tonight. So, I mean, Mackenzie Gore also was very good, made the All-Star game, and they scored 8 runs off of him in 2+ innings yesterday. So they will be tested in tonight's game. Randy Vasquez will be on the mound for the Padres. Game 2, I have not seen any official announcement for the Padres as to who will throw in the game. I would assume it's Ryan Bogaerts. He's up and it's his turn in the rotation.
Right.
But everything I've seen remains TBD, undecided. Edward Cabrera will go in Game 2 for the Marlins. He is also pretty good.
So he's having a good year.
Not quite as good as Yuri Perez, but 3-4, 3.61 ERA. Not as hot lately. He did give up 4 runs in 4 innings in his last start against Baltimore. That came before the All-Star break, so he'll make his first start after the All-Star break. And then on Wednesday, the early start, the 8 a.m. pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan, Dylan Cease will make his second start of the break. And, of course, he'll go up against Sandy Alcantara, who has not been good. Padres did face him earlier this season and got him. He's got an ERA over 7, but he's always got that, Cy Young Award winner in him that you're always worried about for the final game of the series. So, yeah, the Marlins may be a sub-500 team, but you're seeing 3 very nasty arms in this series. I think the strategy would be continue to get good starting pitching. At the worst, keep it a low-scoring game for the first 5 or 6 innings, tied within a run. And then you got to find a way to beat a lesser bullpen because you'll have the bullpen advantage. Your back-end relievers are rested after a nice outing yesterday where you didn't have to use any of them. We haven't seen Robert Suarez at all, right, since the All-Star game. So he didn't pitch at all this weekend.
He's ready to go.
You didn't have to use many innings from any of your other top guys. So you're well set up bullpen-wise, but don't expect them to be taking down big leads like they did yesterday in all 3 games of these series because you're facing really good starting pitching this series.
Yeah, I just saw Las Vegas thinks that the Padres are underdogs tonight.
Underdogs?
Yeah.
All right.
Saw that.
Well, we all doubt Vandy Vasquez. We've done it all season.
Every year or every
outing. Single start, and he's gone out and found a way to battle.
He doesn't blow your hair back, but
no,
you know what to expect. Honestly, it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing.
It's always the 4
watch.
walks, 2 strikeouts thing that goes. How can you be effective in Major League Baseball when you walk as many guys as you strike out? Sometimes more.
He does,
but he's got this movement that just makes it like bad contact. He continues to get like. They swing, and they just hit a dribbler. They just hit a ground ball right at someone. They hit a pop-up. He just gets bad contact continuously from major league hitters. So hopefully he keeps that going tonight in his first start since the All-Star break in the second half of the season. Paulie's got a Rindle report coming up in our next segment. But first, I do have some tickets to give away, and we're going to be giving away these all week. So we'll do it at different times during the show to make sure all kinds of different tier ones have an opportunity to win. But if you want to win tickets for Padres Mets next Tuesday, be the 5th caller right now. Actually, let's make it the 7th caller because then we can cycle through one. So it's just not about the fastest fingers. Get a little luck involved. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Start dialing. We'll take the 7th caller is going to win 2 tickets. Padres Mets on July 29th. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free Padres sandless beach towel. Visit padres.com/giveaways for more details. But it's like that high-tech fabric that doesn't keep the sand in. So when you bring it back to your car, shouldn't have a bunch of sand on it. I hate when you have to go to the beach and then you have to go immediately to the car wash and get all the sand out of your car.
What is this, Padres broadcast right now?
I know, like Mud and Don.
We all saw the towel. I saw it 69 times this weekend.
Fair enough. I kind of want one, though. I mean, hey, they do it because it's effective. We see it, and then we want one, and now you have an opportunity to win one from 97.3 The Fan. It's not market science 101, marketing 101. Show it to the people. Tell them how good it is. They're going to want it. They're going to want to go to the game and get their own tickets for the game. It's effective. That's why they do it so often. All right, we'll come back. Paulie's got some Rindle report headlines. What do you have for us, Paulie?
We got some breaking news in Major League or in the NBA.
Ooh, basketball, man.
I've got just a wild sports memorabilia story that did not end well.
Okay, we'll get to that coming up. Final segment of Ben and Woods without Woods, who should be back tomorrow. Should be back in American airspace momentarily if he hasn't crossed already on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Something unpleasant. Had to Venmo Scraby $20 because I lost our open picks pool for golf over the weekend. Me, Woods, Ello, and Scraby have been doing a pick pool for all the majors this year. And he, of course, drafted Scotty Scheffler, which was a good pick, Matt Scraby. I was actually leading going into the final day because a couple of my guys, Rory McIlroy, Tyrrell Hatton, were in the top 5, which was better than just having Scotty win. But Tyrrell Hatton did not have a great day, obviously. Rory didn't have a great day on the last day, and Scotty pulled away to win, which led to a second straight victory for Matt Scraby. So congratulations to
You
Scraby.
ain't paying anybody out.
I hate paying anybody out. And congratulations to Scotty Scheffler on his 4th major title. And now 3 of the 4 for the career Grand Slam. He will have the opportunity next year, Paulie, to win the career Grand Slam at the U.S. Open. And Sunday of the U.S. Open will also be his 30th birthday. Wow. A little, way in advance. It's almost like 11 months away, but that would be quite the story on your 30th birthday to become a Grand Slam champion. And right now, it certainly seems like he's going to be the favorite every time he tees it up in a golf tournament. The guy is just a machine out there playing golf. Even more so. Tiger was more spectacular, and I think he was better overall. Obviously, won more majors, did it for longer. But right now, I don't know that anyone's been quite the machine that Scotty is. He just doesn't make almost any mistakes. Had the one ball in the bunker on the 8th hole yesterday led to a double bogey. It was like the only mistake he made all weekend. And still, it didn't cost him. He won handily. So congratulations to Scotty Scheffler, and congratulations to the winner of the Padres tickets from our last segment, Jose. Thanks for calling in. I saw some people in the chat for Hollis said you answered and hung up. Yeah, you were too early. You were one of the first 6 callers, so you didn't make it to caller number 7. Works, but guess what? We'll have more Padres Mets tickets to give away tomorrow. All right, before we get to the round report, 1 week from today, Paulie and I are going to be out at the 4th annual Salute to Heroes charity golf tournament at Loma Santa Fe Country Club. You can play if you'd like to sign up. A day of golf, food, prizes, and camaraderie, all to honor our local heroes and support veterans programs. Register for the tournament at SanDiegoSocialLeagues.org. Again, next Monday at the Loma Santa Fe Country Club. You can see celebrities, including former Padre Greg Vaughn, Arabian Prince from NWA, Zab Judah, Olden Polynice, NBA world champ, and more.
What a throwback name.
Olden Polynice.
Yeah.
Did he play for the Sonics?
At
some point, I feel like he did when you were growing up. You probably
remember the name.
Little Olden Polynice action. And I believe we have some NBA news in our Rindle report coming up right after our check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a couple things wrapping up our morning drive. One is a collision in the clearing stage northbound 5 before Genesee. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. And we're getting reports of a collision on the Rancho Penasquitos Boulevard off-ramp of eastbound 56. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right. Happy Monday, Benjamin.
Happy Monday, Paulie.
Let's get a little started here. How about a little NBA talk? Ben, do his thing.
Let me cook.
What?
Let me cook. Let basketball Ben.
Yeah, I love letting basketball Ben cook. News this morning, Chris Paul still playing in the NBA, actually. He's going back for his 21st season coming up this upcoming fall, and he is reuniting with the Los Angeles Clippers. That was announced about an hour ago by Shams Charania. He's 40 years old, Chris Paul is, and reportedly had multiple teams to choose from and decided he wanted to go back to a familiar spot. He's going to be playing for the Clippers, the red and blue and white. And what other colors do they have? Black.
Clippers have had a nice offseason. Now, they did trade San Diego's own Norm Powell, but they replaced him. They got Bradley Beal, John Collins, Brooke Lopez, and now they've added Chris Paul to the core. That includes Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Zubats, who's pretty good. My son is the Clippers fan.
I was just going to ask you, your son's a Clippers fan.
Yeah, he's very excited.
You got him a really cool Clippers hat.
Throwback Mitchell and Ness. He loves that. He's been wearing it like every day.
That's awesome.
That was a good present.
Now, in case anybody listening missed it, a few weeks ago, you had a bit of a bombshell news update when you
given up my Lakers fandom. Yes.
You gave it up.
Yes. Doesn't mean I don't follow them in the rest of the league. They got Marcus Smart over the weekend.
I was just going to ask, does this mean you're more of a Clippers fan now, or are you just
I probably am, because for my son, I would like them to do well and make him happy. I'm not
something to follow with him.
I don't think I'm going to become a Clippers fan myself, but I'm certainly happy for them. I never hated the Clippers. I mean, they moved from San Diego, so I hated them for a while, but it's so long ago that that's kind of left me. I was a huge Clippers fan as a kid, but then when they left, like the Chargers, I stopped cheering for the Clippers. So, but he's a Clippers fan, and I'm okay with it now. That was many owners ago, and Clippers are becoming kind of cool. But we'll see. Lakers got Marcus Smart over the weekend. It's been a very busy offseason, as it always is in the NBA.
Yeah, sure has. We'll switch over to Major League Baseball. Did you see the scene that happened on Saturday in the Braves-Yankees game with Jazz Chisholm?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out exactly what was going on. There was suspicion that perhaps Jazz was on second base in the game and was relaying signs, giving some signals.
So he was under suspicion for doing something that is legal and allowed in Major League Baseball.
It's a weird part of the game, isn't it? It's totally legal, and yet if it happens against you, if you're the pitcher or on the field, you're very upset by it.
Correct.
We see the pitchers. They get very mad by this. So there was video from center field, and you can see Jazz is kind of like waving his right hand and trying to signal some sort of a pitch to the hitter. And then there was a scene where you could see somebody from the Braves dugout was screaming at Jazz when he was standing on third base, and Jazz was kind of, throwing some hand signals at him. They were going back and forth for a while. Turns out it was assistant coach Eddie Perez for the Braves that was yelling at Chisholm. I'm watching on MLB Network here. They're showing the video. You can see Perez from the dugout screaming. It's a side shot, so it's hard to read any lips and know what is being said, but he's definitely pointing at his head while yelling at Jazz. So it can be interpreted a couple of different ways. One is, hey, you do that again, we're coming after your head next, AB, which is, I think, how Jazz at least took that when he was standing out on third base. Or was he saying, use your head? We don't know, but Major League Baseball is investigating what exactly went down, what exactly was being said. And it's just one of those weird situations where I don't know how pitchers should react or the defenses should react, but they get so angry. He's not cheating, though.
So I'm watching the video of what he's doing, and I mean, he's being pretty obvious about it. He
wasn't really hiding.
He tilts his head so he can try to look, I think, into the glove and see if he can see a grip. And then when he sees something, he does this wild flailing of his arms as a fairly obvious signal to the batter. Again, not illegal. After the game, talking to MLB.com, Perez says, I was just saying, be smart. I like that guy. He's one of my favorites. And I do think that for whatever reason, like, people want to help Jazz Chisholm be like really good. I don't know. It felt like Skip, I think, when he was with the Marlins, he really wanted Jazz to be good. Love Jazz. I think people love Jazz and just want to see him get the best out of his talent. I do believe Eddie Perez when he's saying, be smart about this. We know you're trying to steal signs. Don't be so blatant, because when you do that, then we have problems. I don't think he meant we're going to throw at your head. I just think he meant be smart so we don't have to turn this into a whole big issue, between the two teams where someone does have to be thrown at and someone else gets thrown at and it turns into a whole mess. So just kind of be smart about it. The bottom line, though, is, and the numbers show this, if you know what's coming as a hitter, it's very, very helpful. And some guys say, I don't want to know, but the numbers are very clear. If you know the pitch that is coming, you turn like a 230 hitter into a 400 hitter.
Right.
So you're turning, like, if Tarek Skubal had to tell every single batter what pitch was coming, he would be good, but he wouldn't be Cy Young good. He'd be fairly mediocre. I mean, it's very important to know what's coming. So you got to try to hide it. It is a big part of the game. And while it's not illegal, it's certainly something that's going to make a pitcher mad. Like, if I was the best pitcher in baseball, but I could not hide what I was throwing, I'd be pretty mad. Like, I could be one of the greatest. I could be a Hall of Famer, but they always know what's coming because I'm tipping my pitches and I can't figure out why. That would be really maddening if I was a pitcher.
Yeah. It was a weird scene on Saturday between the Braves and the Yankees, because I also, if I put myself in Jazz's shoes, when he's standing at third base, you can't hear on a major league field. You can't necessarily hear what is being yelled at from the opposing dugout on the other side of the field. And if all he sees is a coach pointing at the head while yelling at him, I'd be like, oh, you're going to threaten me? You're saying you're going to throw at my head now, huh? Like, I can see why that escalated and became
probably a bit of a misunderstanding here, I would guess.
But MLB is investigating, so we'll have to wait and see. And then finally, got a really wild story out of Indiana. There is a guy named Brett Lemieux. He's a 45-year-old in Indiana, and he was the founder of a sports memorabilia website called Mr. Man Cave. And over the years, like over the last 20-plus years, his net profits have exceeded $350 million. Like, he was a big player in sports memorabilia. And I say he was because, well, he's no longer with us. He posted a long message on a Facebook group last week, basically admitting to this entire memorabilia company that I've ran is all fraud.
It's like the Bernie Madoff of sports memorabilia.
They were all fake. And I mean, some of the biggest names out there, Mahomes, Aaron Judge, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like Tom Brady, huge names that he was selling autographed memorabilia for, and they were all fake. And he talked about how He didn't feel good about it. He didn't like doing it, but the money was too good and he couldn't stop. So police raided 2 addresses in Indiana and found all of the fake memorabilia, and they found Brett Lemieux, with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He took his own life. So, and that they kind of did the timeline. He put it out on Facebook. He admitted to everything. And within a couple of hours, that's when the police showed up to raid his address and find all of the gear. And they found him as well.
It's like a Warden Norton situation from Shawshank.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, man. And I mean, like I said, he's been doing this for over 20 years with some of the biggest names in sports. And it was just all a ripoff. $350 million over 20 years.
I can't say I'm entirely surprised, and I would imagine it's going on quite a few other places. Because when you think about it, if you're careful about it and smart about it, top athletes sign so many autographs, so many cards, that even if you ask them a year later, did you sign this card?
How do they know?
How will they ever know?
Yeah.
I signed cards just like that, and that looks it looks like my signature. I'm sure they can forge it well enough that when they're rattling off 100 signatures, can you really totally tell? I mean, maybe a handwriting expert can. I mean, I can't even tell sometimes when I look at my own signature. Was that my signature or someone else's? I've got no idea. My signature I don't get signatures. And by the
I would
way,
imagine with technology, I could line up 10 different Ben Higgins signatures, and you're like, I don't know.
All look different. In the year 2025, that we have to assign the check at the end of a dinner makes no sense to me. Are you kidding me? Are we going to go to court whether this is my signature or not? Because I couldn't tell you if it was my signature. It looks different every single time. So the fact that guys take advantage of it to make money and put signatures on it that are forgeries has got to be probably shockingly common in the sports memorabilia industry, which is one of the reasons why I never really wanted to get into it, because you'll never really know. All right, someone says that they signed this. Someone says it's a piece of Babe Ruth's bat from whatever. How do you really know what you have?
You don't.
You can't. I mean, you can have every documentation on earth. How do you really know what you have?
Yeah, I don't buy.
A bat looks like a bat. Dirt looks like dirt. I don't get it.
I've only bought one piece of autographed memorabilia online, and at that point, I didn't spend a ton of money on it, and it comes with the letter of authenticity, and you're just honestly, for your own peace of mind, you're just assuming that letter is
of course
legitimate,
authentic,
and you're saying, I've got it. But unless you got it from the athlete in person and you were you know what I mean? You never really know.
To me, those are the only things that are truly meaningful, is when you were there, you got it signed, and you keep it yourself, because once you sell it or give it to someone else, they can never really know because they weren't there. But if you saw an athlete sign it for you, you've got that personally. It's your memory.
Yeah.
Beyond that, once it leaves the room and, then it's totally, you can never be sure.
But just because you buy something on eBay and it says, oh, it's got the letter of authenticity. I mean, again, there are a couple of very reputable companies out there where you could probably trust them. They'll tell you, no, he was in our store and signed this.
I know that there are reputable companies, and I know they absolutely do their best, but they also acquire things from other places. And when that happens, they can never be 100% sure.
All they can do is, they can do.
Because this guy, from all reports, was very reputable until
he wasn't.
Until he wasn't.
Right.
And he was dead. Buyer beware when it comes to memorabilia, sports and otherwise. But if you're just doing it for your own and it makes you happy, go for it. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just saying it's one of the reasons why I've always been hesitant to get into that sort of thing. Because if I wasn't the one who got it, how can you ever really know?
I know
that item is truly authentic.
I think you just got to go, and if you want it, then you just believe that it's true.
Yeah. All right, Paulie, good job. 3 days, sans
did it.
Woods, but he will be back, according to all reports, in his flight logger and himself on the chat today, tomorrow morning, and I believe he's got some good stories to share with us. We know a couple of them, but
I'm not planning to talk
no.
tomorrow, and I don't think you should either.
Be there for foreplay at 6 a.m. tomorrow to start at least scratching the surface of Woods' trip to Manchester, England. Thanks to all of our guests today. Paulie Randall, great job as always. Braden is coming up next. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.